And a good Wednesday morning, Philadelphia. A New Year's Eve Wednesday morning throughout the world. Some have entered the new year, right? We did this yesterday, the math. Australia.
Dude, I don't know time zones.
I think Australia is in the new year. Hold on. Let's see what time it is in Australia. It's only 10 p.m. By the end of we will celebrate at 8 a.m. the Australian New Year. Can we do that? Can we play old enzymes? You know what? Never mind. Australia's done because of that guy. Is he still fishing? Is that career still going on?
I have no idea.
Anyways, good morning, everybody. Johnny the K out until Friday. It is New Year's Eve. I hope everybody has a good time tonight. Be safe. Enjoy yourself. Call an Uber. You name it. You got it. All right, we're going to talk Eagles today. As you know, every single day we do that on the show. And there's a lot to talk about, especially after Kevin Patullo's wonderful press conference yesterday. But I need to start with, like, happiness for a change. You know, I saw yesterday on our YouTube chat, I forget who said it. It was not one of our regular names, so I apologize. Hopefully you can comment your name later on. I saw somebody say, typical sports talk radio host, wants the team to lose so that they sound smart and they're right. That's not true, at least for me. I'm sure there are people in this industry that are like that. That's not me. I can't tell you how nice it was, even though I said it was just the Raiders, how nice it was to come in Monday morning after the Raiders beat down the 31-0 win with literally nothing to complain about. You could not complain about the offense. You could not complain about the defense. You could not complain about the coaching staff. You couldn't complain about anything. My God, was that a nice welcomed week, especially right around the holidays. It was beautiful. Did I buy into the win? Like, oh, they figured it out? No. But was it nice to be stress-free for a couple of days? Absolutely. And obviously, after the win against the Bills, you hear it in the open. Great win going into Buffalo with those conditions. But there's a lot of concerns about the offense still with just one regular season game left. You hear Kevin Patullo talk during his press conference yesterday, clearly not having a clue with what he's doing. So that doesn't make me feel any better. But what does make me feel better is being able to go to bed and wake up and see that my two winter teams won yesterday. So Sixers game, I stayed up through overtime. Flyers game, look, they're 10 o'clock puck drop against the Knucks. I'm not making it through the third period. But it was nice waking up saying, wow, both teams won. And that's not something that we are used to seeing. Last year was such a mess with the Sixers. The Flyers was the confusing, where are we right now with John Tortorella. They end up firing Tortorella where he steps away because he didn't really want to do a rebuild. And now we have this new energy with Rick Tocchet. And you're seeing a Flyers team that has just been very consistent this season. And they keep on finding ways to win. Last night, we got to watch the Sixers with the team. It was Joel Embiid. It was Paul George. It was Tyrese Maxey. It was VJ Edgecombe. All of those players played close to 40 minutes. Embiid played 38. George played 39. Edgecombe, 41. Maxey, 43. The game goes into overtime. And this is how it sounded here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrese has it out top, 15 seconds to go. Jalen Wells defends Tyrese Maxey. Maxey right near midcourt, dribbling the ball between his legs. He's about to make a move, 6 seconds to go in overtime. Tie score, VJ's open, he catches, he shoots a three, it's good! He made it with 1.7 to go. VJ Edgecombe with the biggest shot of his rookie season, puts the Sixers up by 3.
That was great to see. One of the things that I loved about him since the first night he stepped on the floor as a member of the Sixers, that rookie's got stones. He's not afraid of the moment. He's not going to pass the rock because he thinks this is not my shot. I'm not one of the big names on this team. VJ Edgecombe was not afraid to take that shot, and he's one of the biggest reasons why you won that basketball game yesterday. What he was able to do in overtime, because look, you got some tired legs on this team. Maxey's played 1,000 minutes this year. Paul George and Joel Embiid are just tired legs, period. VJ Edgecombe coming through with that shot yesterday was tremendous, and it was just nice to see the crew together. That was the first time, I believe, this season where Embiid, George, and Maxey were on the court together, and they won. They had not been winning games. And part of that is Nick Nurse having to try to figure out what is best for this team when everybody is together? Is it this run and gun style that we saw early in the year? Is it playing a half-court game that goes through Joel Embiid? Is it playing a half-court game where it's Tyrese Maxey running the show and then kicking it out to guys like VJ Edgecombe and Paul George? There are so many options that Nick Nurse has as long as everybody is healthy. That's going to be the bottom line every single time. Every time we talk about the Eagles or the Sixers, it's whether or not everybody's healthy. And last night we got a glimpse of what it could be. Am I going to overreact to a win over a bad Grizzlies team? A team that doesn't know what they're doing with the future of Ja Morant? No, I'm not going to completely overreact. But it was just nice to see Embiid, George, and Maxey together for a game, and everybody play well. Embiid, 34 points in his 38 minutes. He also had 10 rebounds, 8 assists. How about that? Maxey, 34 points, 12 assists. Paul George, 17 points. VJ Edgecombe, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. It was nice to see that crew come together and get a win. And then after that, the Flyers with a 6 spot. Not 1, not 2, but 3 goals in the third period.
The Flyers wrap it on at center ice, 2-on-1 potentially at the blue line. Over the line is Michkov. He's got Brink going in front. They score! What a setup! Michkov to Brink, and Bobby Brink gets it right back for the Flyers. That's also the 50th assist for Matvei Michkov. No Flyer has gotten to that mark faster in 25 years. Hit a body in front and bounces out to center. Owen Tippett's going to catch up to that. With an empty net, he shoots. He scores! Owen Tippett finishes it off with his 12th of the year into the empty goal. And the Flyers are going to beat the Canucks in this one with just 2 minutes 41 left. At the blue line, Flyers get a stick on it. Konechny gives it to Zegras. Zegras ahead and with an empty net. Christian Dvorak lets it go into the empty goal. I think that'll be Zegras' goal. What an unselfish play. And the Flyers go ahead 6-3.
And that's how it sounded on our sister station, WMMR. The Flyers with a 6-3 win over the Canucks yesterday. So I wanted to start the show. Look, we're going to get into an Eagles topic. And we're going to get into a topic about fandom and following this Eagles team this year. But it was nice to just have a night where both winter teams won. The Sixers now 17-14. Is that great? No, it's not. But in an Eastern Conference, you're 3 games back of this 3rd seed. Like that, like it's that tight in the Eastern Conference. And then the Flyers now improved to 20-11-7 with that win over the Canucks yesterday. And if you're just looking around the divisions, you look at the Metropolitan Division, the Flyers are 3rd, 1 point back of the Islanders, 4 points back of the Hurricanes. Like the Flyers and Sixers are playing a brand of hockey and basketball that should at least excite you. I'm not talking about expectations. I'm not talking about, is this the future to get to the Stanley Cup or to get to the NBA Finals? I don't even know if we can even have NBA Finals conversations with this team. But for once, it's just nice to have a breath of fresh air where I can come in here on a morning and at 6 o'clock start the show off with happiness.
Hey.
Thank you, Philadelphia Winter teams.
If the Pope's in, I'm in.
That's right, because the Pope was gifted the Flyers sweater, last week or 2 weeks ago?
On the 18th, I believe.
And now we have the Holy Goal Horn. It's tremendous work by you, Connor. So we're going to talk Eagles. We'll get into it. But coming up next, before we even do that, I want to spend a couple more minutes on what I saw last night. Because I am now, speaking of the Pope, praying that as Philadelphia sports fans, we get something for the first time since August of 2020. I didn't really realize how long it's been since I checked this morning. We are running on 6 years now. I'll tell you what that is next. It is Kincade Salciunas, Johnny out until Friday. On a day where we get to start the show happy? That's wonderful. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Santi Aldama, the cross-court pass, intercepted by VJ Edgecombe. Ahead to Maxey. Maxey back to VJ. And a two-hand jam. Edgecombe throws it down. The 76ers with a steal, the run-out, and Maxey to VJ Edgecombe, and a stump by VJ.
I want the Sixers to win the championship for myself first, and then second for Tom McGinnis, because
Get excited!
Tom McGinnis, the energy that he brings every single call, whether he's calling a Tony Roten game or a game like last night, he brings it all the time, and I appreciate what Tom McGinnis does. And it was nice to hear Tim Saunders on the call in the previous segment. It was just nice. It was nice to hear him.
We got some great talent that's
Yes.
able to call games in this city.
Damn right we do, man. So I wanted to start the show celebrating what we saw last night, because we don't get to do that all that often. With the Sixers and Flyers both getting wins, Sixers, we know the direction that they're heading, or that we fear that they're heading. It's kind of been a yearly story. And then the Flyers are on the rise. Now, I am at the back end of a cold right now. So I got that tickle on the back of the throat where it just won't stop even if you cough, or you have to cough to get it to stop. During that opening segment, I played through it the entire time. When you finally played the Flyers highlight, I literally had a tear coming out of my eye. So it looks like I was so happy about the Sixers last night that I started to cry. That's how it looks. I'm literally wiping tears out of my eyes.
Good cover-up.
Look, man, can't a guy dream?
I almost bought it.
Can't a guy be happy for once with the Sixers and Flyers both getting wins? So we might see something. For the first time since August of 2020. Now, it's going to sound weird, but remember what went down in the world in 2020. When the pandemic hit, it's when the world shut down, and it's when sports went on a bit of a hiatus. If you guys remember, the Sixers were a decent squad that year, but then they had the Ben Simmons injury, and they get swept by the Boston Celtics. The Flyers were actually a really fun team that year. And remember, they did the round-robin tournament before the bubble playoffs to figure out seeding. And the Flyers ended up being the top seed. It was kind of fake because they were really just the 3 seed. But after the round-robin tournament, they come out on top. But August of 2020 is the last time we saw the Sixers and Flyers play back-to-back days in playoff games. The Sixers' final game of their series against the Celtics when they got swept was August 23rd of 2020. The Flyers then began the second-round series against the Islanders where they lose in 7 games. Game 1 was August 24th of 2020. It has been over 5 years since we've been able to see the Sixers and Flyers play in the playoffs at the same time. And I am now praying and expecting to get that this year or in 2026. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. At this point, I don't see some major fall off for the Flyers where they don't make the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to be some cup team, but I don't see some major fall off happening. And then you know the NBA, pretty much everybody makes the team. The Sixers are too good to not make the playoffs as long as they stay healthy, which is the same story every single year. But did you realize that it has been over 5 years now since we've seen the Flyers and the Sixers in the playoffs at the same time?
I didn't, but it kind of feels like it.
Oh, yeah, it feels like it's been forever.
And I'll do you one better. The last time all 4 Philadelphia sports teams made the postseason.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Like 2010?
2010 is correct.
Because you still had Iggy and company with the Sixers. That was pre-process.
Flyers made the run.
Flyers were in the Cup. Phillies were, that was the NLCS with the Giants. And then the Eagles, it was...
I think they lost in like the wild card round or
something like that. But yeah, I figured it was right around then. Wow. So we're going on 15 years since we watched all 4 teams make the playoffs in the same year or the same season. And it's been 5 years since we've seen both winter teams. And you know that it's going to continue with the Phillies. The Phillies aren't going to all of a sudden suck. The Eagles aren't going to all of a sudden suck next year. We are in the beginning right now of what could be a 5-year stretch of at least consistent sports teams. We hope. The big key is health when it comes to the Eagles or Sixers. That's the biggest one. but it was nice to start the show off with a little bit of happiness. If you have any Sixers or Flyers reaction, I don't have a topic for you. You have Sixers or Flyers reaction, chime in 610-632-0975. It was a very nice night last night. And I understand there's still the gatekeeping Flyers fans. I don't get it. I just told you that they haven't been in the playoffs in 6 years. Like, it's nice that they are leading the charge in the winter sports team, and then you just expect the Sixers to make it because that's where you should be. You should expect them to make the playoffs. Do you expect them to make some big run? No, of course not. But it's going to be nice in April to be able to one night get locked in for a Sixers game and then the next night lock in for a Flyers playoff game. That's going to be tremendous. I can't wait for it.
The Flyers are gatekeeping so much they're finishing games at midnight right now.
Yeah,
they
I know.
won't even let anyone
we got to chill out with all this kind of
They'll be
West
done in
Coast
the West
games,
Coast soon.
West Coast games, overtime games, shootouts. We got to chill out with that.
Calgary tonight.
Yeah,
Drink your coffee.
Hey, people were staying up anyway for New Year's Eve. All right, coming up next, we will have our topic to discuss. I wanted to give the Sixers and Flyers their love first just because they deserve it, right? But yesterday, Connor asked me a very interesting question during the show that had me thinking all day. I don't like to give you compliments like that, Connor, but you said something yesterday that made me think all day yesterday. And I want to bring it up on the show today to discuss. It's sort of a fandom conversation. The journey versus the result. We get into that coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas. Johnny out today through Friday, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A big night for both winter teams. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Don't miss Bill Colarulo at the Goat on Sansom Street this Saturday, January 3rd from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. for an Ultra Access event with Michelob Ultra featuring $5 Michelob Ultra drafts and a chance to win Sixers suite tickets in the Fanatics private suite. Please enjoy responsibly. We had a great couple of games out of the winter sports teams last night. Sixers and Flyers both found impressive wins for the Sixers, a 139-136 overtime victory in Memphis, and VJ Edgecombe was the one who closed out the win.
6 seconds to go in overtime. Tie score. VJ's open. He catches. He shoots a three. It's good. He made it with 1.7 to go. VJ Edgecombe with the biggest shot of his rookie season.
Great call by Tom McGinnis right here on the Fanatic. The Flyers got their win 6-3. Coach Rick Tockett's return to Vancouver. 3 third-period goals for them. Sixers are off tonight. Flyers have the Flames in Calgary at 9:30. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Eagles are back to work as they prepare for their Week 18 matchup with Washington. Keep an eye out for any hints as to how they're handling potential rest. Nick Sirianni meets with media at 11:20. We'll talk to Adam Schefter at 7:25. Anthony Sanfilippo at 8:40. This update's also brought to you by Super Short. If you own a small business, you need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Super Short. Not kind of short, not pretty short, but super short. Coming soon. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Cates shoots. He scores! Noah Cates puts it through for his 10th of the year. He's got 5 goals in 13 games now. And the Flyers get it back and tie the game at 1.
That was on MMR yesterday. Flyers beat the Canucks 6-3 yesterday. Sixers beat the Grizzlies in overtime. So it's been nice to start the show off celebrating a 2-0 night for our winter teams before we start talking about the Eagles. That was nice. By the way, I was thinking about this during the break because there was very little happy storylines with the Sixers last year, like at all. How much did we get duped by players on a bad team? So before his injury, and we'll see as he continues to, get his feet wet, Jared McCain barely plays. And I was always a little hesitant. All right, he's filling it up. He's the only guy out there. And then he got hurt, unfortunately, and he just has not looked the same this year. But the bigger one, because I'll give McCain time. It's only his second year. Have you followed all what Gershon Yabusele has done with the Knicks?
He has not done anything.
He doesn't
with the
play.
Knicks.
He's a DNP. He played 16 minutes the other night against the Pelicans, who stink. But he's been a DNP a lot this year. The amount of time people wasted begging for Daryl Morey to sign him to some lucrative deal was such a waste. It was such a waste of time. Did I think he was a nice piece? Yeah. But there were people that loved Gershon Yabusele because unfortunately he was one of the few bright spots on a very bad team last year.
Yeah, there was a reason he was out of the league 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's getting this opportunity.
Oh, good
Seems
for
like,
him.
Great dude. But
Oh yeah, good, very good person.
credit to Daryl Morey for not making the move everybody wanted
People
him to
don't
make.
like to give that man credit, and I understand why. It's been frustrating, but I swear Daryl Morey has done more good things than people like to give him credit for. And not signing Gershon Yabusele was a move that Daryl Morey stood on an island about because a lot of people did not like where that was heading. All right, so I have a question about the Eagles, obviously, that we will get into throughout the course of the show as well. But it's more so a fandom question. So, Connor, you hear me say this all the time. Let fans be fans any way they want. All right? I don't think there is a right way to be a fan. I don't think there is a wrong way to be a fan. Are you the person that's always positive? Go for it. Are you the person that's always negative? And maybe it just sort of eases the real life pains that you go through? Go for it, right? Let fans be fans. I don't really care. There's sometimes where John will get upset with the way somebody is acting about a team or how they talk or how they follow. I don't care. We all live busy lives, right? There is very little free time that we have. And for the most part, people in Philadelphia spend it watching sports. Their limited free time that they have at night, putting the TV on. And then when you're watching sports, do you want to be miserable all the time? More often than not, sports are not fun. Because more often than not, your team is not winning the big picture. Your team is not winning the championship. We know that pretty well in this city. So it's going into a game, being happy to be able to put on a game, and taking away nights like last night as just a nice day, right? Both the Sixers and Flyers won. Were they meaningful wins yesterday? No, not really, but it was just nice to kind of see it. Well, with the Eagles, you asked me a very interesting question yesterday that I think it goes into the psyche of who we are as sports fans that I think could change every single year. Last year, we've talked about this a lot. Last year, I was somebody that did not care about the Eagles' issues because I didn't think they had any. I thought the way the Eagles played by running the football was what would work best for them. And so I would look at what the other teams in the NFC looked like before I looked at the Eagles because I had very little worries about the Eagles. This year, I have so many worries about this Eagles offense that I'm ignoring a lot of the flaws of other teams. I am. And that's a character flaw of mine for this year because, the Rams do have issues. The Seahawks do have issues by the name of Sam Darnold. There are teams that have issues, and I should be able to focus on those issues more. But because the Eagles' issues are so prominent, they're so in your face, I can't help but point out that the Eagles' offense could be a reason why that they're not going to get to the Super Bowl. So yesterday, you asked me when one of our great listeners, great YouTube viewers, Renee, pressed me on saying, hey, what was your preseason record prediction? And I ended up saying 11-6 with a ceiling of 12-5. I did not think that they would win 13 or 14 games this year, considering how difficult their schedule was. And what's crazy is if you think about it, if they don't blow some monstrous leads, like the game against the Cowboys and the Broncos, if they don't lose bad games like the New York Giants or the Chicago Bears coming into your house and beating you the way that they did, the Eagles are a 13 or 14 win team. It's not how it works. The NFL is a difficult sport. We know that. But the Eagles have already reached my immediate expectation of 11 wins. And if they play their starters, and hell, even if they play their backups on Sunday and win, they will reach my ceiling goal, which was 12 wins in the regular season. Playoffs, totally different conversation. I said NFC Championship game. John and Connor both said Super Bowl. But then you asked me a question because you guys can all tell that I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed. And you asked me if it's more so how they got there that's bothering me, because I expect the Eagles offense to look different. And that's absolutely true. Now, it's not, oh, darn, I'm not having fun because I'm not watching a Madden offense. I see a team that I think could be held back because of the flaws. So my question for everybody today at 610-632-0975, other than the excitement of the Flyers and Sixers, you just want to text in, call in, Flyers love, Sixers love for today, feel free, we're here. But our Eagles question, our fandom question is, are you more of a how they got here fan or a they are here fan? Now, let me explain using an example. When it came to the Phillies, you, Connor, were a they are here fan.
Always Sam.
I was a how they got here fan. So Connor and I did a couple of watch parties during the Phillies playoff run last year that lasted a few days. When we were at Patty Wax for game one of that Phillies-Dodgers series, and I saw Matt Strahm come out of the bullpen, and I had seen the Phillies offense go dead for multiple innings, you, me, and the great Haley Taylor Simon were there watching the game together, and I basically said out loud, this isn't going to end up well. It's just not going to work out. Matt Strahm gives up the home run to a player that I wanted the Phillies to sign in previous years, in Teoscar Hernandez. When I'm watching Hernandez rounding the bases, I'm seeing you yelling and screaming, walking away. I'm seeing many other Phillies fans yelling and screaming or putting their head in their hands. And I just kind of stood there and nodded because I expected it. Because how the Phillies got to the playoffs last year was on the backs of the starting pitching. The bullpen was not consistent enough for me to feel comfortable in late innings unless it's Johan Duran. I was very pissed off at Jose Alvarado for what he did, and the guy that ended up pitching his innings was the guy that gave up the home run. And I knew that the bats would go silent. I knew that they were a tight team. I just knew it. In big moments, they got tight. So for me, as a how they got here fan, I was not surprised or even as emotional as you were when it happened. Part of me was jealous of your emotion, which sounds ass backwards.
I was
because
pretty upset.
You were angry, and I shouldn't want to be angry. But I'm watching this play out, and I go, yeah, I kind of expected this. And that's a very painful feeling. I may not show the emotion that you're showing, but knowing that the bad would happen sucks. And so for me, the reason why I have this mindset right now is with the Eagles is because I'm almost expecting the offense to have a bad game in the playoffs and then be the reason why they lose a playoff game. Whereas a lot of people, to Renee's point, and I mentioned my father. My dad's birthday is December 7th. Remember, they played the Chargers December 8th, that Monday night. He and I were sitting there having a beer talking, and he said, you know what? As crazy as the year has been, if they go 3-2 over the next 5 weeks, they will reach 12 wins, which is what I predicted before the season started, and I will be happy. And my dad is a guy that during games will be the first one to yell and scream at the TV. He'll also be the first person to buy everyone a round of beers after a touchdown. Like, that's who my father is. He celebrates the highs. He freaks out at the lows. I think there are a lot of people that are, hey, they're here, Andrew. Like, shut up. The fact that they are 11-5 and could finish 12-5, which is your ceiling expectation win-loss record-wise before the season started, and you're complaining about the offense, just shut up. I understand where you guys come from. But I'm a how are they getting there fan. I am not a they are here fan. Where would you come in on this Eagles team? Because I think teams are different. I think expectations change how we act toward these teams. Because the Eagles have such high expectations, because we have such high standards for this team, that's why I'm more of a how they got there fan and not a, hey, they're at 12 or 11 wins again.
There are a couple of reasons I'm a how they got there fan for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Number one is just football, right? Because in baseball, basketball, hockey, you play series. You can make mistakes, overcome those big-time mistakes. You've got more runway to take off, right? So sometimes those little issues that have affected you all year pop up in one or two games, and you still win the series.
Right.
The NFL, you screw up one or two things, you're going home. And the other thing with the Eagles, why they're different than the Phillies, Sixers, and Flyers, especially this year, is the concept has already been proven. They won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
So I can have those higher expectations of the path matters. You are a defending champion. It should look a certain way. Whereas the Phillies, I don't know, man, just getting there. We'll see what happens. Sixers, Flyers, we talked about how excited we'd be to see them in.
Well, and it's not just that. It's also the expectations. Like, for me, you mentioned the Phillies. I do not put the Phillies, Sixers, and Flyers in the same category. The Phillies have pissed me off by falling short of expectations. The Sixers have really broken me. But there's a legitimate, nobody wants to hear it, legitimate excuse, and it's because your best player is always hurt. Now, that's a conversation for another day if it's best for him to not be on the team anymore. The Phillies don't have excuses. The Phillies just lose. The Phillies just get tight. The Phillies just fall apart. The Flyers, I have no expectations for, and I can go in on a Tuesday night as I'm about to fall asleep and watch the puck drop against the Canucks and just be happy to watch them play.
Yeah, it's just very simple to me. And there's a lot of nuance to the conversation, but the baseline thing is the Eagles have won it with this core. I know they can win it, and that's why the expectations of how they get there are so much higher. The other teams, I don't know if we'll ever see it, so it's more just another bite at the apple to see what they got.
You're just happy that they're there. So when it comes to the Eagles, let's focus on the Eagles for this topic. I get it. You don't want to hear me complain about the offense anymore. But I am a this is how they got there person. This is what needs to get better. This is what needs to change. It's very much a personality trait. Like, it's not just fandom. It's a personality trait. For the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles, we get to say that for one more day, and then it's the 25-26 Eagles. Are you a how they got here fan, or are you more of a they are here fan? They are at 11 wins. I don't care how it's looked. They are the defending Super Bowl champions, and they have a chance of getting the 2 seed still. They will host a playoff game, if not 2. They could go on a run. Where do you fall on that? 610-632-0975. We'll check the text line for the first time this morning coming up next. Also, I have a lighthearted topic that we can add for the rest of the show, and there will be a prize attached to it because I saw something on social media yesterday from an NFL team account that made me laugh out loud, text Connor immediately, and say, thank you for the content. I'll tell you what next. We'll check your text messages. It's Kincade and Salciunas. Johnny out until Friday here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Embiid trying to get the ball. He buys for it in the near corner, gets it. Shot clock at 14. Joel then making a move on Jackson. He fakes. Aldama's there. Jackson blocks him, and Embiid bats it up and in. Embiid with multiple efforts swats at it, and it goes in.
That was the best night for the trio of Maxey, Embiid, Paul George that we have seen. We have not gotten many opportunities to see the three of them together, but that was by far the best night for that trio in a Sixers uniform. And, of course, the Flyers, the big win last night as well, 6-3 over the Canucks, celebrating our winter teams. We have a lighthearted topic to get into in a little bit because it won't be lighthearted in the next couple segments. So that's why I'm trying to ease the pain early, because we got to play some of the clips from Kevin Patullo's press conference yesterday that just kind of remind me that he has no clue of what he's doing, and it's really disappointing. Hit me up with a couple text messages. Our question for you when it comes to the Eagles: are you a how they got here fan or a they are here fan? And again, the example I use is just this past Phillies playoff run, where I wasn't shocked by the result. When I saw Teoscar Hernandez hit that home run in Game 1 against Matt Strahm, I was standing side by side with Connor Thomas, and our reactions were polar opposites. You were ready to storm away back to your apartment. I just stood there and was like, yep, not surprised. And again, you can fan any way you want. If you are somebody that wants to yell and scream and throw something, just stay away from me. I don't want to get hit by anything. You can. If you're somebody that's almost expecting for the shoe to drop, I hate that, but there's some times where I can't avoid it either. I kind of expected that series to play out the way that it did. This Eagles team, I'm a how they got here fan. And how they got here is with a dominant defense and an offense that gives me fits. But there are a lot of people that just look at the record and say, dude, what are you complaining about? They're 11-5. Look at the teams that they've beaten. Incredible resume. John brings it up all the time, and it is an incredible resume. I can't take that away from them. That's what I got to. That's what I was saying yesterday. As much as this team drives me nuts, as much as Nick Sirianni drives me crazy, they're 11-5. They're one of the more successful franchises in football and have been for years. And there's a lot of people that just look at it that way. What do we got on the text line?
John from Manioc will lead us off, and he says,
Johnny?
I'm a they are here kind of guy. It doesn't matter what it took to get here. Only the future matters now. They have the personnel. They have the talent. They have the experience. Now they just need the coaching to come through for them and us.
I think the experience is a big thing for people. Like, we talk about pedigree and how much that matters. I thought it went away when they lost to the Bears and the Chargers. But to your point, Connor, like, playoff pedigree is different. Once you start a playoff game, there is a history to Sam Darnold. There's a much better history to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. And that history is winning. That history is getting to 2 conference championship games, winning both those conference championship games, and winning a Super Bowl. And so when people say I'm a they are here fan because I still believe in things, I can't, like, I'm not going to tear you down. Right? Like, again, I think I got into this yesterday. Sports talk, or just society, has become my way or the highway. I will never try to sway your opinion. I don't think the way I do this show, Connor, is not trying to get you to agree with me. We will have disagreements, and I might think that you're crazy at times with said disagreements. Like, I thought it was crazy that people gave Jose Alvarado a standing ovation when he returned from his suspension where he was ineligible for the playoffs and potentially cost you a playoff game. Like, I thought that was crazy. But if you want to give the guy a standing ovation, more power to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to do. I just give my opinion, and if I make you think a little bit, I got my job done for the day, right? I did my job. If I had an opinion that made you think, I can go home, put my head on the pillow, take my midday nap, and call myself a good radio host. If I don't make you think, then I did not do my job that day. This Eagles topic, how they got here or they are here, there are a lot of people that don't want to think. And you know what? I envy you. Like, if I'll be honest with you, like, I envy people that just watch games nowadays.
What's that old expression, ignorance is bliss?
Yeah. Like, this job has changed me. I'm not complaining about this job. I love this job. The opportunities that this job has given me, the coolness of this job, the thing that I get to tell my son that I do and he's still confused by. Like, I love this job. But this job has changed me when it comes to sports because I can't just watch a game on a Sunday. They pull out the win and then put on the game again next Sunday. I got to talk about it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, start preparing Thursday, Friday, what I want to see. If I don't see it, I get upset for not seeing it. And so sometimes I envy the person that can just be happy-go-lucky my team is winning football games or baseball games. I am that fan right now for the Sixers and Flyers because I have no expectations. Expectations change everything for me. What else we got on the text line?
We also have a check-in on what we've been talking about with the winter sports teams because a lot of people are fired up this morning. This texter says, this is the first year I started watching and enjoying the Sixers since before the process started. It's been rough and embarrassing. As far as the Flyers, it's fun to watch this team. They're relatively young. I'm optimistic about them for the first time since the early 2000s, late 90s.
Well, and look, again, they're heading toward potentially the playoffs for the first time since August of 2020, the COVID bubble playoff. It's been a long time, and it would be great to see. All right, so we're going to have a contest for you to try to win a pair of Sixers tickets. Speaking of the Sixers, we have a Sixers game to go to January 14th against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I have a question to ask that I will give you on the other side, but it's going to stem off of this. Yesterday, I could not send Connor this tweet fast enough. The Los Angeles Chargers posted a photo of Drew Brees wearing his Chargers uniform. And the tweet reads, closer to Canton, because Drew Brees is a finalist to go to the Hall of Fame. If you remember, the breakup between the Chargers and Drew Brees was not so pleasant. They gave up on Drew Brees. Drew Brees was a starter in San Diego for 4 years. He spent 5 years with the Chargers. He was a starter for 4 of them before he goes on to the Saints and has his Hall of Fame career. The Chargers cannot put that tweet out there. I don't think they deserve it. At least on the Chargers uniform.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch there.
Just a photo of him how about on draft day? The photo of him being drafted. Not a photo of him in a uniform where you did not want him a part of your team. So I have a question off of that we will have for the remainder of the show today for your chance to win a pair of Sixers tickets. Everybody's involved. Phone line, text line, YouTube, you guys as well. I'll tell you what it is next. Also, the reason why I want to have this lighthearted topic is because Kevin Patullo darkens my mood. He has had all season to try to figure something out. And believe it or not, he made it worse yesterday. It's Kincade Salciunas, Johnny out today, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Edgecombe closes out the Grizz. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Super Short. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get super short. Not kind of short, not pretty short, but super short, coming soon. We had a great couple of games out of the winter sports teams last night. The Sixers and Flyers both found impressive wins for the Sixers. A 139-136 overtime victory over the Grizzlies in Memphis. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey had 34 each. VJ Edgecombe, the big closeout performance, including the game-winning 3 in the final seconds of OT. And the Flyers got their win 6-3, and Coach Rick Tockett's return to Vancouver. 3 third-period goals were the difference, including a milestone moment for Matvei Michkov.
Over the line is Michkov. He's got Brink going in front. They score! What a setup! Michkov to Brink. That's also the 50th assist for Michkov. No Flyer has gotten to that mark faster in 25 years.
Sixers are off tonight. That call by Tim Saunders. You'll hear him tonight on our airwaves. That was on WMMR last night. The Flyers have the Flames in Calgary, 9:30 p.m. puck drop. That game live here on the Fanatic, as said. The Eagles are back to work as they prepare for their Week 18 matchup with Washington. We'll keep an eye on how they potentially handle rest. We'll talk to Adam Schefter about that coming up at 7:25. This update's also brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance this year. Their sleep experts will help you find your dream bed from a quality selection. They make sleep easy. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Pushed ahead. Brunstrom chased it down. He takes a shot. He scores! Oh, what a goal by Carl Brunstrom! He's got 7 goals now in 11 games. And Philadelphia takes the 2-1 lead. The hottest Flyer right now is Carl Brunstrom.
6-3 win for the Flyers last night against the Canucks, heading toward potentially a playoff berth. I was just talking to my man Shukri Wright during the commercial break. He's the associate producer today. Not only, I mentioned we might see the Flyers and Sixers play back-to-back nights in the playoffs for the first time since August of 2020. He brings up, by the way, it'll be the first time the Flyers play a home playoff game since April of 2018. Because remember, COVID was the bubble.
Bubbled up.
Were they in Disney World too?
I don't know where they were.
I forget where the NHL was. I know NBA, they had the Disney experience.
Yeah, the Mickey Mouse ring.
Speaking of, see what happened yesterday at Walt Disney World.
I did not.
When's the last time you've been to Disney World?
Senior year of high school.
All right, so did you do the Indiana Jones experience?
Bro, I don't even remember. Maybe.
It's where they bring people out of the stands and they participate.
No, I don't think
it's one of the shows.
You know what?
It's
No,
not a ride.
I have seen it though.
All right, you know the big boulder?
Yeah.
The boulder bounced off the wall and went toward the crowd.
That's not good.
And a staffer jumped in front of the boulder. So it's a big rubber ball, but it's huge. The speed of which it was bouncing toward the crowd, the guy jumped and flew, head snapped, head started bleeding. There's a lawsuit coming. That guy literally, I'm not going to say saved lives, but he saved injuries for a lot of people. He probably saved Disney World a lot of money.
Probably, but
that guy should get a reward from the company. Check it out. Watch the video. You'll find it's all over social media.
I don't know.
If that ball goes into, there's no waivers when you walk into that thing.
But you're going to the Indiana Jones experience. You got to be ready to make moves, man.
Dude,
if you're sitting there and you're watching Indy run around, that boulder comes my way, I got to get out of the way.
It bounced off the wall, bounced toward the crowd. This staffer saved Walt Disney World so much money in lawsuits. That guy should get some sort of end of the year check. He better, man. He saved them a lot of money.
They need short round. Save somebody.
All right, so our lighthearted contest for the pair of Sixers tickets. We'll give the best answer, the pair of tickets, whether it's on YouTube. So, Sean, I'm going to need you to put those together. Text line, that's up to you, Connor. And, of course, you can call in as well at 610-632-0975. The now Los Angeles Chargers posted a photo yesterday of Drew Brees in his Chargers uniform celebrating that he is a finalist to go to Canton. Drew Brees, after his rookie contract and his one-year extension, then ended up playing 15 years for the New Orleans Saints. So 5 years as a member of the Chargers, 4 as a starter, 15 years as a member of the New Orleans Saints. I don't believe the Chargers are allowed to post that post, at least in the Chargers jersey. You got to do it the draft day photo. Are there any other players where Philadelphia could try to take credit for as members of the Hall of Fame? What would the best answer be? For me, if the Eagles probably shouldn't take credit for Terrell Owens. All right, that's the number one answer that comes to my mind.
Probably.
He was here for a year and a half. That's not a let's post a photo of T.O. You're going to. I understand it's the right thing to do. I'm not. The Chargers did the right thing yesterday by posting that. Because, again, the breakup wasn't pretty because he was hurt. And then he took more money, guaranteed money with the Saints. Because why wouldn't you if you're having all these injuries? So he goes to New Orleans instead of going back to the Chargers. And I know that was bad blood forever. Who is a player that is in a Hall of Fame or could one day go to the Hall of Fame that one of our teams could try to take credit for?
I'll just ask you for a bar setting so people get a good idea of the parameters. Did the Phillies just kind of do it with Scott Rowland, or was he here long enough that wouldn't count for you?
That's a good question because he was a tremendous player here. And he played
6.5 years.
7 years with the Phillies, which is actually the most. St. Louis, he only played 6. I get where you're coming from. I think that's a really interesting question because when he got inducted, I did not celebrate it. I thought he was a scoundrel. So I did not celebrate the fact that he got inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. So that's a good answer. I don't think we could totally take credit for it, even though he was a tremendous player here, and the Phillies just didn't want to pony up more money.
So the idea, if you want to have a winning answer, is to have someone who is here shorter or had less of an impact than that. I think that's a good bar for the baseline.
Do you think of Drew Brees as a Charger?
No.
Exactly. Like that, I think that's the bar. I don't think as T.O. as an Eagle. I think of him as a 49er first.
But every year with T.O. felt like 10 years.
No, I know, because it was electric, and there was also a lot of drama attached to it. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. The best answer today will win a pair of tickets for the Sixers-Cavs game on January 14th, as we also celebrate what the Sixers did last night. Best game of the trio of George, Embiid, and Maxey together, and also the Flyers with a nice win yesterday. But our topic, our debatable topic, or our which side are you on topic, are you more of a how they got there fan or a they are there fan? Because there are a lot of people that I think, I don't want to say bury their head in the sand because I think that's disrespectful. But there are people that say, yeah, sure, the offense may struggle for the Eagles, but they are 11-5. What are you freaking complaining about? They're the defending Super Bowl champions. What are you complaining about? The fact that they had to go back, they win the Super Bowl, had the schedules they had, got to 11-5, could potentially still get the 2 seed. What are you complaining about? I'm more of a how they got there fan. And how they got there, how we've gotten here, is a tremendous defense and an offense that just leaves me perplexed every single week. And Kevin Patullo is not helping that with this press conference. So yesterday, Kevin Patullo spoke to the media. He's part of the blame for my feelings, Connor. Like, the reason why I am the way that I am is because of him.
I'd say he's mostly to blame.
There's one change, 2 changes to the Eagles' offense. Tyler Steen, the offensive coordinator. That's it. And this offense sucks. This was Kevin Patullo toward the end of his press conference yesterday talking about the state of the Eagles' offense.
I think there's some things that we're starting to see now that this is kind of who we want to be going forward, and it's kind of popped up as we've gone on throughout the season because we've played such different games with different opponents that we've had and different styles of defenses. And I think there's certain things that, Jalen's doing a really, really nice job of, and we'll continue to lean into that. And just his, exposure to things and experience, in the playoffs will come, really help us going down the long road.
All right, so a couple of things that drive me nuts. We're starting to see who we want to be. You've played 16 games. You've played 16 games, and you're starting to see who you want to be. It's too late. Sorry. It's too late. To say that we're starting to see some good things, which games are we talking about? Because you can't tell me the Buffalo game where you had 16 total yards in the second half. The first half was fine. You had 16 total yards in the second half of the game that you're having a press conference after. And you're talking about how you're starting to see some good things. So I'm guessing he's talking more so about the Raiders and the Commanders, which, once again, they're the Raiders and the Commanders. I will not take anything away from those 2 games that will make me feel comfortable for the playoffs, other than, wow, they finally beat up on a team they're supposed to beat up. And I was happy about that. I celebrate that. You heard me. I celebrate the fact that they beat up teams that they were supposed to beat up. But to say on December the 30th, yesterday, that we're finally starting to see things we want to do, it's too late. So that was toward the end of the press conference. This clip that started the press conference is one that drove me nuts.
And we're still going through some stuff now as we speak. And really, when you look at it, is the amount of drives we had and plays and some of the starting positions. It was the first down thing again. We had 4 drives where we had inefficient first downs, put us in 4 second and longs. And then from that, we were in 3 third and longs. And, when you're doing that, when that's happening, it's going to be very hard to move the ball. And that's the unfortunate part of it. We had the one backed up drive from them -1. We have to get it out. We ran again on second down. We didn't get much. And then third down, we had some pressure, and that was a punt. And so when you look at those drives, it gets frustrating because we need one play. All we need is one spark, one thing to get those things going, and we're out of it. And there was a couple. There was one drive we were very close on the one where we went first and 10 pass. Then we went second and 10. We had Devontae. We had a little bit of pressure. We almost made the play. He had a great route, versus man coverage. We won, and we just didn't happen. Third and 10, we don't convert. So those are the frustrating pieces.
So, once more, I have to hear about how we're not doing a good enough job on first down. right? That's the reason why the second half was as bad as it was because we're not doing well enough on first down. We played the game yesterday of When Did He Say It, which was Nick Sirianni talking about how it's on me. We got to figure it all out. It's not just one person. And we had 8 different examples yesterday. All right. I've heard Kevin Patullo talk about how we're not doing a good enough job on first down 1,000 times this year. That's not good. And when I see the stat flash during the game Sunday against the Bills that the Eagles are one of the worst third and distance teams, I think they were 3rd or 4th worst in the NFL with their average distance to a first down on 3rd down. You're putting your team in a horrible position almost every single drive. The Eagles are averaging 18 first downs a game. 18. The teams that are worse than them: Miami, not in the playoffs. Pittsburgh, may be eliminated this weekend. Vikings, not in the playoffs. Jets, suck. Browns, stink even worse. Tennessee Titans, Vegas Raiders. Those are the teams that are worse than the Eagles in terms of first downs per game. That's horrible. And I hear Kevin Patullo still talking on December 30th about how we're not doing well enough on first down. Now, maybe you're not doing a good job on first down because you told the world yesterday something that you do and something that you did against the Buffalo Bills. It's a clip that drove social media wild. We will unpack it next. We'll get to your texts and calls. Who are you as a fan with this Eagles? A how they got their fan or they got their fan? We're playing a little game. Chargers celebrating the fact that the Drew Brees is a finalist for Canton when he was there for 5 minutes. Who could we do that with here in Philadelphia? A lot of stuff in store for you. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
150, McTeague between the legs. Yo-yoing the dribble now with the left hand. They double team him. He jumps it back. VJ, another chance out top. Three-pointer by Edgecombe is good again. He knocked it down. VJ Edgecombe, his third three in the game, and the Sixers go up by 7.
What a nice night to see the Sixers, their best night with Maxey, Embiid, and George on the court at the same time. VJ Edgecombe, of course, the hero with the game-winning shot in overtime yesterday. Great game for the Sixers yesterday. Great game for the Flyers last night. We've been talking about it all show this morning. And, of course, our Eagles topic. Are you more of a how they got there fan or a they are here fan? Renee on our YouTube chat, I kind of expected what her answer would be. A they are here fan, right? Does not care how they got there. The fact that they're 11-5, potentially 12-5, and the 2 seed, she says, I want to see wins. I don't care what anyone else says. And then she, of course, says that's the problem with Sports Talk Radio. But that's what Sports Talk Radio is all about. Like, we got to talk about it. I can't just go, all right, they won. Call it a day. If it's a beatdown win, great win, we celebrate the great win for a full week. But when the offense has the week that they had, it's going to lead to questions about the playoffs, which that's what it's all about for me with this Eagles team. It's getting back to an NFC Championship game. It's getting back to a Super Bowl. Now, this clip that you will hear caused social media to stir all day yesterday. Kevin Patullo was asked about running the football. The Eagles are facing, I think, the 5th most stacked boxes in the NFL this year. Teams are just doing whatever they can to take away the run. I believe the Seahawks are also up there because teams don't really respect Sam Darnold as much. They worry more about Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. This was Kevin Patullo yesterday talking about running the football.
I mean, there was a couple plays where we were just running to run it, right? And so we got to do a good job of making sure we put everybody in the best position to do what they need to do, and then we have to execute that play once we get those called. So, some runs are, hey, we're running it no matter what. Some other things have some options off it. It just depends on how the play goes in.
So, a couple of things. First off, I don't want to forget, Adam Schefter joins us in 10 minutes. He had to move up. So instead of 7:55 on this Wednesday morning, he joins us next at 7:25. Running the football to run the football is okay. All right? If you're trying to kill clock, it's okay. The Eagles were running the football to run the football against the Raiders when they were up 31-0, right? Like, they were running the football to run the football. Sometimes running the football can set up play action, can set up throws downfield. The problem is the Eagles didn't do that in the second half at all. And the biggest problem that I had in that clip was when he said, sometimes we run the football and I tell them we're running the football here, which he is admitting that there are plays where Jalen Hurts does not have the ability to check at the line of scrimmage. He's telling you that. And that's my biggest beef with the clip. The run the ball to run the ball, that happens in football. You can't throw the ball 800 times. You have to run the football to run the football. But when you say there are times where I'm telling them to run and I don't give basically Jalen the opportunity to check at the line of scrimmage, that's problematic, especially considering what we saw in the second half against the Bills. And that's not the first time we've seen the offense go dead in halves this year.
You know what's funny? If you asked people who should have more control over the offense, because that's Kevin Patullo trying to take the reins away from Jalen Hurts a little bit with you got to do this way on this play. I don't want to overstate it like he's saying Jalen can't do anything, but if you ask people who should have more control over the offense, Hurts, Sirianni, or Patullo, people inside the Eagles building, some would tell you Patullo. Some would tell you Sirianni from the outside, and some folks who don't believe Jalen Hurts can run an NFL offense, even though he's gone to 2 Super Bowls, would tell you it's not Hurts. It's weird because all the 3 guys that you're trying to balance this out with do have their flaws.
Yeah, no, of course, but to not allow your quarterback who is reading the defense at the line of scrimmage to check out of a play is stupid.
I know.
Do we realize how dumb that is? That is dumb. And to me, when I hear him speak more and more, I'm not surprised that the Eagles' offense has been putrid this year.
Yeah, if that's Kyle Shanahan talking about Mac Jones being in while Brock Purdy's hurt.
Sure.
That's different.
But this is your franchise quarterback, Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts, and you're saying, no, don't change anything. If he's Kyle Shanahan, I'm okay with it. Forget Hurts. If he's Kyle Shanahan, I'm okay with it. He's not. This guy has shown you that he is incompetent as the offensive coordinator of the Eagles. And he thinks he's got the power to say, no, this is what we're doing. It's my way or the highway?
Jalen's got to get his coach trust meter up in Road to Glory.
Oh, my God. All right, give us a text message, 610-632-0975. We have a lot of calls on hold that we'll get to. Don't forget Adam Schefter joining us at 7:25. What do we got?
All right, so John V checks in, says, sports seasons are long. I believe in enjoying the journey. Enjoy the wins. Why get frustrated with the losses? Expect your teams to do better and to get better throughout the season. I'm certainly a they are here fan, not just the how they got here fan.
See, that's beautiful. Enjoy the wins and don't get bothered by the losses. I can't do that. And again, that's a personality thing. I'm not even saying the job. I can't. That's a personality thing. If my team wins, I'm happy. If they lose, yeah, I can fluff off some. Especially a 162-game season in baseball. But in football, I can't do that. You know, I think our man Mopar on our YouTube chat, this was a couple of weeks ago. So, Mopar, I hope I'm reading what you said correctly. I made note of it. Basically, if they win, I'm happy. If they lose, but there's still another week to play, I'm not going to overreact. It's when they get eliminated is when I'll react. There are people that live life that way.
I'm similar to that.
I can't. I am this is what could potentially eliminate them guy. At least this year. So are you a how they got here fan or are you a they are here fan? That and the Drew Brees fun conversation that we're having. The Chargers posting the congratulations post with him in the Chargers uniform going to Canton when nobody talks about the Drew Brees San Diego Chargers. They talk about the Drew Brees New Orleans Saints. You can text and call in your answer, 610-632-0975. Adam Schefter for his midweek check-in comes your way next here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers survive in Memphis. I'm Connor Thomas, and we had a great couple of games out of our winter sports teams last night. Long nights, but hey, we'll take it with wins for the Sixers and the Flyers. For the Sixers, a 139-136 overtime victory in Memphis, outlasting Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey both had 34, but it was VJ Edgecombe who closed out the win.
6 seconds to go in overtime. Tie score. VJ's open. He catches. He shoots a three. It's good. He made it with 1.7 to go. VJ Edgecombe with the biggest shot of his rookie season.
Great call by Tom McGinnis here on 97.5 The Fanatic, and a great win by the Sixers. The Flyers got their win 6-3, and Coach Rick Tockett's return to Vancouver. 3 third-period goals were the difference in that one. Sixers are off tonight. Flyers have the Flames in Calgary. Puck drop at 9:30 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Eagles are back to work as they prepare for their Week 18 matchup with the Commanders. Keep an eye out for any hints as to how the Birds are handling potential rest for players. Nick Sirianni meets with the media at 11:20. Adam Schefter meets with us coming up next. Talk to us about the latest on the NFL playoff picture and the Birds. This update's brought to you by SuperSure. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get super sure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, but super sure. Coming soon. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
7:25 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Johnny will be back on Friday, taking a couple of days off as we are about to enter the new year. Again, 35 minutes from Australia New Year. So we'll toast to Australia at 8 o'clock Eastern time. By the way, sad news, man, in the Hollywood world yesterday. Isaiah Whitlock Jr. passed away. He, of course, was Clay Davis in The Wire and had numerous other roles. But for those of you who are fans of The Wire, he was a tremendous, tremendous character. I know he was in Veep. He did a lot of great things over his career. He passed away yesterday. So tough, sad news in the Hollywood world yesterday. All right, join us now on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business, big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. From ESPN, the great Adam Schefter joins us. Shefty, good morning. How are we today?
Good morning, Andrew. How are we doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. And I guess Happy New Year to Trayvon Diggs. I'm not entirely sure if he's thrilled to be released and finding a new team. Can you tell us what went down with Trayvon Diggs and the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, I think it was a whole host of issues, and my guess is he's probably happy to be freed. He didn't seem particularly happy at that point in time. The way I understand it was he just, there, from the perspective of the team, he was pushing the envelope on certain things. They didn't love that he rehabbed in Florida from his injury. They'd rather have him been in Dallas. He didn't always play the scheme the right way, the way they wanted. All those factors. There were reports yesterday that he wanted to stay back in Washington after the Christmas Day game, and they didn't let him, and he did, and they got mad. Like, just one thing after another. And eventually they just say, you know what, it's enough. And they moved on. They released him yesterday. He's on waivers today. I don't think anybody will claim that contract, and then he'll become a free agent and sign somewhere else. And I do think he'll sign with a playoff team.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, why would you do it? Is it just such a bad relationship that you're going to do it? Because you're giving the guy kind of what he wants. He leaves a situation that he's not happy with, and now can, to your point, sign with a playoff team. Why would Dallas do that and not just say, we're going to hold on to him for one more game and then he won't be eligible to join a playoff team?
Yeah, again, they obviously reached their breaking point with him, and they felt like they just didn't even want to deal with him anymore. And that's what they did. So they moved on. I don't know whether his contract was up or not, but they were going to cut him anyway, I guess. And so they just had enough. When you have enough, you've had enough, and they had enough.
So what teams do you believe will be in on Trayvon Diggs? You mentioned playoff teams. I would imagine he's not signing with the Cleveland Browns for one game. So what playoff teams would look for Trayvon Diggs? Is there anybody that needs a cornerback that desperately?
Well, the first team I would think of would be the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
Knows Micah Parsons. The Eagles have had two instances where they tried to acquire cornerbacks. They were interested in Darius Slay before Buffalo claimed him, and they traded for Jair Alexander. That didn't work out. I don't know whether Philly would or wouldn't be interested, but it wouldn't shock me if they just checked into it to see what his situation was and discussed it as an organization about whether it was worth the gamble or not, right? Like, I remember a couple of years ago, the Los Angeles Rams, the playoff spot, they claimed Emmanuel Forbes off waivers. Why would Washington move on from Emmanuel Forbes? Similar kind of story. New change of scenery, new defensive scheme, new environment. Emmanuel Forbes has been shining in L.A. Maybe that'll be the case with Trayvon Diggs. Maybe it won't. Maybe he's difficult enough to deal with that they don't want that to be the case. But I think it merits a discussion, and then they can figure out whether or not they want to pursue him.
What is the likelihood that the Eagles would pursue him? Because to me, a move this late in the season almost feels like a bit of desperation. Like when the Eagles brought back Brandon Graham to play a handful of snaps, even though he's been good of late. It's Week 18. The Eagles already have one of the better defenses. So do you actually believe there's a likelihood that the Eagles go after him?
All I'm saying is I think that they need to discuss as an organization to figure out whether they'd want to. Like, again, they traded for Jair Alexander, 6-7 weeks ago.
Right.
So if they feel like he can help their team, you bring him in. If they feel like he can't, you don't. And so that's up to them to figure out and discuss. I don't know where they'll come in on that.
Adam Schefter joins us here on the Comcast Business Hotline. What have you heard about the Eagles potentially resting starters this Sunday against the Commanders? They do still have the chance of getting the 2 seed if they win and the Bears lose, but Nick Sirianni also made it pretty clear that this team has benefited from rest the last couple of years before the playoffs. What have you heard about the Eagles and what their plan is for Sunday?
Yeah, my guess would be there'd be some rest involved with some key players. Like, you're not going to rush back Lane Johnson in a case like this. You know, if the division was still at stake, Lane Johnson would have played last weekend. But it's not, so you rest him up. I would imagine, you know, certain guys that are battling injuries, like Jalen Carter came back and played last week. Maybe he plays a little bit more this week, maybe not. To me, it'd be a big Tank Bigsby week this week, to me. I'd be resting certain guys in certain spots.
So is Jalen Hurts playing? Because to me, if you rest 2 offensive linemen, I'm not putting Jalen Hurts behind the backup offensive line group.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't be surprised if we were a Tanner McKee game on Sunday.
Okay, well, we'll be keeping a close eye on that. Vic Fangio. So Vic Fangio, we know, is the head coach of the defense. He's a guy that has say, and he's able to get starters to play in preseason football. Is this a decision that Nick Sirianni would make, or would he give Vic Fangio the call to say whether or not he wants to play starters on Sunday?
No, it's an organizational decision. I don't think this is a sole Vic decision at all. I think that they'll all discuss this, figure out how they want to approach it, and come to some sort of consensus here about what's the best way to use or not use their starters and key players. Again, I just come back to this. If there's a guy that's battling through an injury, I just don't know that it makes sense to play that guy this week. That's my point.
All right, Adam, some non-Eagles notes. We're having fun with this, but I'm curious to get your opinion on it. I understand they probably have to do it, but it was funny to me to see the Chargers post Drew Brees in his Chargers uniform celebrating that he became a finalist for Canton. Is that just doing the nice thing for the Chargers?
Yeah, well, they're not going to post him in a Saints uniform, and he did start out his career there, and he contributed, and the Chargers have a relationship with him, so that's their way to congratulate him. I mean, you can't not congratulate the guy.
See, to me, I would have posted his draft day photo, him getting drafted by the Chargers, not an active uniform when they would not pony up and keep him there, and then he signs with New Orleans and has a 15-year Hall of Fame career with a different team. Yeah,
well, that's what the Chargers have to do. Their social team's pretty good at what they do.
Yes, they are. All right, on a not-so-pleasant note, we talked about Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Diggs. What is the latest that you are hearing with Stephon Diggs, and is there a chance that he is unavailable for the playoffs for the New England Patriots?
You know, we're in an unusual situation here because those are serious charges, and it was on the court docket yesterday. Now, he came out, or the Patriots did, and categorically denied, their words, categorically denied that he did that. And the team came out to say, we support Stephon here. Now, you don't see teams support players in legal. That was unusual. So I don't know what there is behind this. There's obviously a lot more details to gather before we know more. And the league would never take action. Like the team's already said it supports him. And the league obviously would wait for the legal situation to play itself out. I can't imagine the league is going to take him off the field this week. I'd be surprised, but you never know how these things evolve, and every situation is unique. It's obviously a very serious situation. I'll let them all figure it out, and we'll wait to see what they decide.
All right, last thing for you, not even football related. Your fantasy basketball team had a nice night last night as long as Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe were in the starting lineup.
Oh, yeah, no, that was Maxey was 13 of 21 from the floor. VJ was 10 of 21 from the floor. Maxey had 4 3-pointers, VJ 5. VJ had 4 steals last night, 25 points. That was a big 41 minutes. That was a big. Tyrese went for 34 points.
He had 34, and then Edgecombe hit the game-winning shot in overtime to send the Sixers to victory.
Yeah, those guys want to keep doing that all year long. They're going to be getting rings from me. They're going to be getting rings from me.
rings from you. That's awesome. Well, Shefty, listen, man, we appreciate the time as always. Johnny gives you his best wishes and a happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve to you and your family, and we'll talk to you next week.
Happy New Year's Eve to everybody in the Philadelphia area. Hopefully it's a great new year ahead for everybody.
There he is, the great Adam Schefter on the Comcast Business Hotline. So a lot of smoke about the starters not playing on Sunday. I mean, that's what it feels like. When Sirianni spoke 2 days ago, we played the clip yesterday during the show. My immediate takeaway was he's not playing the starters. We can debate till we're blue in the face about what the right decision is, because I think there's actually a real debate this year, not last year about an individual award. This year it's about 2-seed or rest. There is a legit debate. But it just feels like Mike Garafolo yesterday said that they were going to rest starters, one of the bigger insiders in the NFL. Adam Schefter just told us now he's kind of expecting a Tanner McKee game and a Tank Bigsby game, so start logging in your FanDuel bets now, because who knows what the updated odds will be in a couple of days or over-unders if you can grab them now. It feels like the starters will not play, and that's the decision that I lean toward. I get wanting 2 home games. I get wanting the 2-seed. I get wanting to play the Packers. But if this team is not at their best, and to me getting healthier will make this team at their best, whatever that ceiling is, that's the best thing for this football team. So I'm feeling happier and happier that I'm hearing more and more about this. But I know a lot of you want them to go for the 2-seed. We can open that conversation up as well, 610-632-0975. Now, coming up next, we go from the ESPN's Adam Schefter to ESPN's Dominique Foxworth. He's not coming on the show. We have a clip for you. Who does he believe is the best team in the NFC playoff picture? Find out next. Also, we'll get your answers on this Drew Brees conversation that we're having. If we were a Philadelphia team trying to take credit for somebody's Hall of Fame career, what players make sense? It's Kincade Salciunas. Johnny out today, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Drysdale winds in front, the backhand shot, and they score! What a play by Travis Konechny! He spins around and shovels it high into the goal for his 12th of the year. It's 3-1.
That is 10-year vet Travis Konechny. Still weird to say. 10-year vet Travis Konechny with a goal last night. Flyers beat the Canucks 6-3. Sixers win in overtime against Memphis. We're celebrating a 2-0 winter sports team night because, man, it's good to finally be happy. And then there's also the Eagles offense. We played a couple of clips from Kevin Patullo's press conference yesterday where the guy clearly is in over his head, and it's terrifying. And we have one regular season game to watch until the playoffs, and I don't think it's going to all of a sudden change. Now, I didn't realize they had this. Shout out NBA Slime on Twitter. FanDuel has the early odds for each playoff matchup. So you can go on, I guess if the game isn't the game, your bet gets voided and you just get your money back. So they have the lines for each Eagles potential playoff matchup. Packers, Rams, and Niners. You want to guess what the line would be against the Packers?
Eagles -6.5.
3.
What? That feels light.
Do you want to guess what the Eagles line would be against the San Francisco 49ers?
I guess it would be 2.5 then?
It is 2.5. I don't understand how the Eagles, Packers, and Eagles, Niners are similar. Like, I fear the Niners more than I fear the Packers. I'm with you. Like, I would think, considering all the injuries, the major injuries that they have, that the Packers 5.5, 6.
I guess you go off the previous matchup.
Yeah, and it's playoffs. You know, games will be tighter. But I'm surprised that Eagles Packers is 3 and Eagles Niners is 2.5. Do you want to guess what the Rams is?
Also, Eagles -2.5.
How about Rams -1.5?
Oh, get out of here.
The Rams would be the favorite in the matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles if that were the playoff picture. Does that totally matter? No, it doesn't. But it's just what Vegas is telling you. The Eagles would be the favorite in the matchups against the Packers and Niners, but would not be the favorite against the Rams.
And that's what we're all feeling, right? Everyone we've heard from is basically Rams are the team that you don't want.
Yeah,
Niners
that's how
we're
I
okay
feel.
with.
But then Monday night happens, right? And nobody was expecting the Rams to lose to the Falcons. And then that adds to people's belief that the Eagles could beat the Rams. I think the Eagles can beat anyone.
Yeah, of course.
Let me make that clear because I think that gets lost in the conversation. I fear the Rams the most. I think the Eagles can beat anyone. My thing that I have been saying for weeks now is winning 3 games this way is not going to happen. I think they could beat anyone. You tell me that the Eagles are playing the Niners. You tell me the Eagles are playing the Rams. You tell me the Eagles are playing the Packers. You tell me the Eagles are playing the Seahawks, the Bucks, the Panthers, Packers, you name it. Give me any team. I think the Eagles on a given week can beat that team. I just don't think the Eagles can win 3 straight games to get to a Super Bowl with the offense being the way that it is. Now, Dominique Foxworth of ESPN had this to say about the best team in the NFC.
We kind of talked about whoever has the bye is the team that you believe in, but if you ask me just to pick a team for any given Sunday that I want to win in the playoffs, I kind of hate to say it because we've been kind of ridiculing them all year, at least their offense, but it's the Eagles, man. Like the way that defensive front played against the Bills and one of the best offensive lines that we have in football right now, like they just kind of played really well on the defensive side of the ball, and we know that they have playmakers on offense. Even in those terrible conditions, we saw A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith make some big catches and some big plays. We've seen Jalen Hurts do it in the biggest moments. While they haven't been great this year and that O-line is not special, I look around at the rest of the teams and I'm like, I trust that D-line and that secondary of the Eagles to keep them in every game. They're not going to get blown out. They're going to be close. There's situations where I can see these other teams having a tough time. I know you can say the same thing about the Seahawks defense, but their offense can't run the ball and their quarterback struggles in big moments.
I love that he says, I hate to say it, but the Eagles. Because, like he said, we've been ridiculing them all season long, and we have been here on this show, too, because of the way the offense has been. But he kind of echoes what I said. Like, they will be in every game. The Eagles could beat any playoff team in the NFC. It's just, can they do it 3 times with the way this offense goes? Let's go to Devontae in Phoenixville. What's up, Devontae?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good.
What do you got?
Oh, I got Will Chamberlain. Will Chamberlain for the Hall of Famer question.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll put you on hold. We'll put you in the running for it. If you're just tuning in, Drew Brees is a finalist for the NFL Hall of Fame, and the San Diego Chargers posted a photo of him in his Chargers uniform, celebrating that he's a finalist. He played 4 seasons as a starter with the Chargers. His Hall of Fame career is with the Saints. If we could say that with a Philadelphia team and a player, who would it be? 610-632-0975. Let's go to Stan in Drexel Hill. What's up, Stan?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year, too, brother. Thanks, Stan.
Thank you. Listen, man, so real quick on the Sixers, seeing Embiid try to dunk on somebody off the backboard yesterday was an interesting thing to see. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like each game we're starting to see him trust his body more.
Sure.
And move around and become more active. And if that's the case, where I don't expect Embiid to get back to that 30 points per game type of guy, but even a points per minute type of situation.
Well, I mean, he played 38 minutes last night, right? Like that was good. That was good to see.
That was fantastic to see, and he was still moving really well out there. And you could just tell still by his gravity. Some of the looks, some of the passes he made to like guys like Dominic Barlow, and even though PG didn't have a great night shooting, his gravity was just there to help spacing for these guys. And I really love the minutes that he had with a Dembona. I think a Dembona with his energy and him being able to move the way he did was helpful for Embiid.
It helps Embiid not having to go side to side in the paint, lateral movement, right? It benefits him to have that active athletic big next to him, like a Barlow, like an Dembona, to your point. And you just hope that that's something that can also sustain his health a little bit. Look, this is, once again, we can make the case that this is the best on-paper roster the Sixers have had post-process.
I said that from the beginning of the season.
But it all comes down to health. We all know it.
It does. It absolutely does. And that's why, I think it's interesting you're seeing people now wanting to change the rule about how many games a guy can play.
Because of Nikola Jokic's injury, yep.
Yeah, which I think is kind of funny because, if that was the case, Embiid would have had a MVP in 2021. But okay, whatever. Anyway, I do have a pick. I don't really like going with certain guys because I feel like Will. The guy said Will scored 100 with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can't really use that. And
he was a Hall of Famer with the Sixers.
Yeah, exactly. I like to go in the other direction where a guy was absolute dog water with us.
Who?
I think that's the best because even T.O. went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was a stud here, right?
One of his better seasons, right? So, but I like the guy who's a Hall of Famer and came here and did absolutely nothing. And for me, my pick would be Chris Webber.
Oh, that's a great one. I'll put you on hold. C. Webb. I have a C. Webb signed photo somewhere. My dad got it for me. I have a C. Webb jersey with the Sixers. I was all aboard the Chris Webber train when he came to Philadelphia. I was also a kid, so I thought everybody was going to be great.
Yeah, Sixers legend, Chris Webber.
Oh God, and the fan appreciation day being late, E&AI.
They had stuff going on.
Yeah, they were busy. It's amazing. It's a good answer by Stan. So again, Drew Brees, the Chargers celebrating him being a finalist to be a Hall of Famer, which he's going to be. I think they got to sit this one out. 15-year career with the New Orleans Saints that led to the Hall of Fame, not his 4 seasons as a starter with San Diego. All right, coming up next, Connor has an interesting question about what really matters going into the playoffs. He has some numbers to back it up. Defense wins championships? We'll talk about it next. It's Kincade and Salciunas. Your texts and calls as well. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers win and Tockett's return. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update's brought to you by Super Shore. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Super Shore. Not kind of shore, not pretty shore, but Super Shore coming soon. A couple of nice wins by our winter sports teams last night. Flyers out in Vancouver. It was Rick Tockett's return after Vancouver moved on from their former head coach last year. And the Flyers' 3 third-period goals were the difference in getting Tocchet a win in his return.
Over the line is Michkov. He's got Brink going in front. They score! What a setup! Michkov to Brink. That's also the 50th assist for Michkov. No Flyer has gotten to that mark faster in 25 years.
Great call by Tim Saunders over on WMMR, our sister station. The Flyers are back on the ice in Calgary tonight against the Flames. 9:30 p.m. puck drop you can hear here on the Fanatic. Sixers got an overtime win, 139-136 in Memphis last night. VJ Edgecombe, a closeout. last-second 3 in overtime to make the difference. Eagles are back to work as they prepare for their Week 18 matchup with Washington. Nick Sirianni will meet with the media today at 11:20. We're going to talk to Anthony Sanfilippo of On Patterson at 8:40 for the latest on those Flyers. This update's also brought to you by our friends over at Straight Talk Wireless. Your favorite song shouldn't have to wait for Wi-Fi. Switch to Straight Talk and get real unlimited data on Verizon's 5G network. Straight Talk, available at straighttalk.com or Walmart. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
it in. Sixers take the lead. Edgecombe over Coward. A rookie splash in Memphis.
It is 7:56 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. That was Tom McGinnis here on the Fanatic. The Flyers were on MMR last night. Flyers with their win over the Canucks 6-3. We're celebrating both winter teams while also, of course, still talking about the Eagles. Now, during the break, Connor's all about NCAA 26 right now. What, you got a PS5 for Christmas? Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
That's nice.
Santa was very nice.
Santa was very nice to you. You got the PS5, and so you're playing NCAA 26. And we started talking about, just quarterbacks in college during the break. The amount of money that college athletes are getting now. Now, look, great. I'm happy that athletes are getting paid. I think it's led to a crazy transfer portal that I do think college has to figure out. Like they got to figure out a way to make it better. Like guys are just leaving left and right for bigger paydays, which I get it. That's professional sports too, but these are kids we're talking about. Ultimately,
Yeah, it
right?
might have to be contracts or something.
Yeah, like there's something's gonna have to give. It's wild how much money there is in college sports. Like we know that there's a lot of money. It's a world that I don't think many people here realize, just because we're so professional sports oriented. We're not a big college football town. But we started talking about Carson Beck, who was the national champion quarterback with Georgia. Now nobody thinks of Carson Beck being the reason why the Bulldogs won the national championship. They think of the defense, and look at the Eagles' defense. The Eagles' defense won the national championship a couple years ago in Georgia. And now he's the starting quarterback for the Miami Hurricanes. And they're in the college football playoff. They won their first round matchup 10-7. Carson Beck is getting paid buku bucks. He stinks, right? Like, I know that he stinks. I know that dude has no shot of being anything in the NFL. Just like Quinn Ewers, right? Like, there's so many guys that, are not going to be anything.
Drew Aller.
Sure, right. But they're going to get paid so much money in college. That's a world that I'm not used to yet. Like how Carson Beck can make millions and millions and millions of dollars when I know he's going to suck in his next level of his job.
It's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing because they are providing that entertainment value. They're providing that service to those institutions.
Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So they should be getting paid. And I think about all the guys that were big-time collegiate athletes that got cooked at the next level that made, well, maybe under the table something, but with NIL now would have made millions. And they just never were able to cash in on that because the NCAA was screwing them.
You're right. It's a good thing for the person, like the individual. Like I'm happy for Carson Beck. It's just confusing to me knowing that he is going to stink at his next level. Imagine being a part-time producer here at the Fanatic making a ton of money, but you might not have a future as a program director down the road, right? Or something like that. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to bring it into our house a little bit. Like, these guys are getting paid so much money, and you know that their next step is going to be bad.
Yeah, but there are certain guys, like, I don't want to take a shot. I don't mean this in a negative way, but like our guy Hembo does great work with stats and producing stuff and putting things together. He's great at what he does. Maybe if he was like if he was on Get Up every morning for hours, like maybe it wouldn't be the same.
I think he does a good job.
I think he does too. It's just an example of a guy who I think of who's great at a position that might not be the top position.
Sure.
So
it's just
that guy shouldn't get paid.
It's just amazing that and look, good for them. It's just I know like this guy's not going to turn into some stud quarterback in the NFL. All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. We have today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming up in a few minutes. Our man, Ant Sanfilippo, is going to join us at 8:40 to talk some Flyers. But you posed an interesting question about this upcoming playoff sort of format in the NFC and AFC, quite frankly. But obviously we focus more on the NFC. And it's whether or not offenses really matter all that much. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, the funny thing with the NFL is that we're so offensively focused in the year 25, well, almost the year 2026 now. And I think that's so much how we evaluate this Eagles team. So I wanted to look and see if the numbers back that up with who's in the postseason. So I looked at the top 5 teams on either side, offensive and defensive, scoring-wise. Here are the top 5 offensive teams in the NFL, points per game scored. Rams are 1, Seattle's 2, both postseason teams. 3 and 4 are the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys, who are both on the outside looking in. 5's New England. When you look at the top 5 defenses, Houston, Seattle, Philly, Denver, New England. All 5 of those are postseason teams.
And you could make a case for probably 4 of them to get to the Super Bowl. I don't know about Houston. Maybe not.
People love Houston over there, too.
Look, I'm a big fan of that football team. I think they're a step away. Like they need to get an offensive line. They need to get something going for that offense. But to your point, I could make the case that those 5 teams that you met, I mean, look, 2 of them in the offense aren't even in the playoffs, but those 5 teams, 4 of them are potential Super Bowl teams.
Yeah, and if you expand it out to just the top 12, for the sake of making the point, 5 of the top 12 teams in offensive scoring are outside the postseason. 2 of the top 12 defensive teams are outside the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's the old saying of defense wins championships, right? But, like, you have to score some points in order to win. Like, you have to. And look, it's a great argument that you're making that, look, you'd rather have the better defense going into the playoffs than the better offense because the better offense might not get you to the playoffs. Now, the Cowboys' defense was so bad, the fact that they won games was because they scored 40 points in those nights. The Lions, they became a mess. But it is good knowing that going into the playoffs, the teams that we probably think have the best chance of getting to the Super Bowl, it's their defense that's been leading the way for the most part.
Yeah, I mean,
the Patriots are a little bit more complimentary.
They are. And so is Seattle when you look at the numbers and everything like that. But if you're telling me Seattle has a great offense, you're lying. If you're telling me the Eagles' offenses look great this year,
they have
you
a great the Seattle Seahawks have a great scoring offense. You get hung up on the Sam Darnold factor, and I don't blame you for it. I look at it the same way. I don't see Sam Darnold going on I think that the Seahawks need that 1 seed. They need it.
Yeah, because they got to have the home field advantage. It's very clear when you see who's in and who's out, and then you couple that with your offensive and defensive scoring. Defense is more sustainable to make the postseason, and probably then it would be logical to say to have postseason success than offense is this year in the NFL.
But the thing is, and I'll go back to something I said yesterday, to all those numbers, and they're great, and I appreciate your work doing it. The Eagles can't slip up on defense. They can't. They can't have a slip-up game, and by slip-up, I mean like 27 points. I'm not saying they give up 30, because I don't think they do that. I don't think they give up 30 points to any team that they would face in their path to the Super Bowl. But if they give up 27 points, that's more than what the Eagles will be able to score, I think, in most games.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one problem. Like, how many teams were in both top 12, both offense and defense?
Let me run down right now. The Seattle Seahawks are in both. The Denver Broncos are not. New England's in both. San Fran is in both. And I believe that is it.
See, I would worry more about the teams that are in both.
And Buffalo's in both, sorry.
Like, they're both offensive and defensive, where they're top 10 in scoring and top 10 in scoring defense.
Yeah, that's totally fair. There are more balanced teams, and that's something that we'd like to see more from the Eagles. Clearly, they're not in the top 12 in scoring on offense.
No, clearly they're not, and the Eagles' defense is dragging them to victories.
But just if you're one of those people who's like an offensive-centric mind, and I am. I love offense. Like, defense is cool, but touchdowns are better. Defense is the more valuable thing by those numbers.
Okay. All right, what do we got on the text line on any of our topics today? Again, our main sort of discussion point when it comes to fandom. It's a fandom day, at least with the Eagles. Are you a how they got there fan or a they are there fan? Like, shut up, stop complaining about the offense. They're 11-5. What do we got?
All right, so this texter checks in, says, as far as the Eagles are concerned, I would like to see more style points to have gotten to where they are than what we've seen. I agree, Patullo is clueless.
See, to me, it's not even style points. It's competency. Like that, like, I'm not even asking for the Eagles to have razzle-dazzle plays and score 30 points. I'm asking the Eagles to get first downs. I'll say it 100 times more. If they had one good drive in the second half against the Bills, my tone is totally different this week. But they didn't have a single good drive. They had one first down. They had 5 real possessions. Forget the clocking at the end. They had 5 real possessions, and 4 of them were 3 and outs. They allowed the Bills to come back into the game. If Josh Allen doesn't make a horrible throw, the Eagles lose that game. And I don't want to do the ifs, ands, or buts game because we just talked about this yesterday with the Puka Nacua catch. But if Josh Allen completes that pass, which I would imagine the next 9 times he does, you lose that game. And it's because the offense went dead again. And so it's not even style points I'm asking for. Style point, that's dead. I was asking for style points 2 months ago. I just need to see an offense that can get first downs and not hear Kevin Patullo talk about how, yeah, well, you know, on first downs, we keep on not doing enough to get the drive going. He mentioned how we needed one play in the second half. Did you hear it in that clip?
Yes.
He said we needed one spark play to get things going. This isn't basketball where you see a shot go through the net and all of a sudden a guy catches fire. Now, if you get a 6-yard gain on first down, you can go up tempo and do something on second down, but it won't solve the rest of the half. If you have a bad game plan, if you are doing a horrible job calling plays, if you are not putting the players in the best position possible, like you and Nick Sirianni talk about every single freaking week on press conferences, one play, one drive is not going to spark squat. It'll just give you one good drive. Football doesn't work that way. God. Hearing him talk yesterday drove me freaking nuts. Don't worry, we have today's headlines of Connor Thomas coming up next. That'll make me happier, I think. Who knows?
Of course it will.
And then you'll hear more clip from Patullo in the bottom of the hour. Because around 8:25, we'll replay that clip I just sort of freaked out about. But also, he talked about getting to the line of scrimmage quicker. It's New Year's Eve, guys. Kincade Salciunas, Johnny out today, 97.5 The Fanatic.
On the center race, 2-on-1 potentially at the blue line. Over the line is Michkov. He's got Brink going in front. They score! What a setup! Michkov to Brink. Bobby Brink gets it right back for the Flyers. That's also the 50th assist for Matvei Michkov. No Flyer has gotten to that mark faster in 25 years.
I can't wait for 8:40 when we speak with Ant Sanfilippo, who does a great job covering the Flyers for On Pattison. The Michkov story has just been crazy because we had the wild exchange with members of the media and Rick Tocchet last week. Tocchet on this show earlier this year straight up said he was upset with Michkov's conditioning coming into the season. But you see there is some special stuff with Michkov that you're just kind of waiting for him to sort of explode to the scene. He's already tremendous. You heard that there, fastest Flyer to 50 assists in a career. Like that's great. And I don't understand. Like I saw somebody, it was a Flyers fan account saying, "Oh my God, the Michkov thing is so over already." 2 years into this thing, man. Like take your time. It's gonna be all good. He's gonna be a tremendous talent, and this team continues to build, continues to get better, and they're an exciting watch every single night. Last night, late against Vancouver, they win 6-3. Sixers get the win, best game ever, with the trio of Maxey, Embiid, and George on the court at the same time. Every player in double figures. It was great to see the minutes played by all those guys, and they get the win in overtime against the Grizzlies. Now, before we get to today's headlines, do you have MTV mentioned in headlines?
I don't.
MTV. Today is the last day of the 24-hour music channel. So MTV will still exist with all their shows and stuff. I can't tell you put on MTV.
Oh, 17 straight hours of ridiculousness.
But yeah. But the music-only channels that MTV has dedicated will go dark, I guess, tonight at midnight.
Damn,
they will not. I mean, music videos was something that I would put on before school, right? Like, if I wasn't watching SportsCenter before leaving when I'm eating my breakfast before leaving, getting on the bus or whatever, I would watch MTV and watch music videos. Like
SportsCenter in the morning was the greatest.
Oh, it was the best, especially Mom, hold on, I don't want to go to the bus yet. Top 10 plays are coming.
You can see the rundown on the left side. Oh.
Well, yeah, that's when it was great. They got to bring back a lot of stuff. They just have to. But either SportsCenter or music videos, and that's done. 44 years running, MTV, the music video dedicated channel is done, and that's a big loss for the music industry because that was a big part of the music industry for 4 decades. All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
Brought to us by who?
Our friends over at Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. You mentioned this to Adam Schefter. It's the wildest story in sports right now. We got to bring it up to start. It was a bad day for the Diggs family yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Trayvon Diggs waived by the Cowboys. Stephon Diggs, now all the alleged stuff coming out with his altercation or the alleged altercation with his personal chef. If you haven't seen it, apparently there is some issue with money not being exchanged.
Yeah, so I read a lot about it. It's you got to be careful because, again, everything's alleged.
All of this alleged.
And as Adam Schefter said, the Patriots put out a post in support of Stephon Diggs, which you don't see often, especially when you see disputes like this, especially when a man involves a woman and putting hands on a woman. The person involved was his personal chef at his house, and for whatever reason, he was not paying the chef. I don't know why. Was he upset with the product? I don't know what it was. Then Stephon Diggs. I mean, there's photos of the texts, and Stephon Diggs was pretty aggressive in the text messages, saying, "Go ahead, send somebody over here to try to get the money. I'll show you that I'm not scared." And then, according to the police report, she went on her own and became physical with her. If that is true, then Stephon Diggs is a bad person, and you're in a lot of trouble. If it's not true, then the chef is a bad person for making up the story. And so that's why you have to be really careful with something like this because we don't know the full extent. But the fact that the Patriots put out a support post in Stephon Diggs, that kind of tells you a lot. in today's society where we have gotten much better with these sort of things.
Yeah, and I'm an innocent until proven guilty guy. That's how we handle things, and that's how I think it should be handled. The one thing I just had to think about yesterday when both of these stories were breaking is, what does the family group text look like there?
Yeah, well, Trayvon, Shefty said he might be happy.
Yeah.
That he left.
I guess so.
Dallas. So Trayvon Diggs is probably a happy man. And again, if he becomes a free agent, he clears waivers. A team's not going to pick him up week 18 and pay the rest of his salary waiver-wise. So you're going to sign a weird deal
for the playoffs.
For the playoffs. And he's going to sign with a playoff team, most likely.
Speaking of the playoffs, college football playoffs get going again today. And I'm interested in this. You mentioned Miami and Carson Beck earlier, but we got two big games today.
Yes.
So Miami takes on Ohio State at 3 p.m. in the playoff. And then you also have Michigan and Texas, 18 versus 13. Now, that's just a regular old bowl game. But it seems like a more competitive game. I can't imagine Miami is going to take it to Ohio State.
Yeah, no, Miami's defense is no joke. But if it's kind of like the Eagles, right? If Ohio State's going to put up points, I don't see Carson Beck keeping up with the Ohio State offense. I get what you're saying. Are you going for the more entertaining game or the big picture game? I'd rather go, this is big picture. It's like the NCAA tournament versus the NIT. Like, there might be a better NIT matchup, but I'm going to watch the big tournament game.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think there will be some people who are more interested in Michigan, Texas, just because you should get a better game out of that. By the way, sorry, I misspoke. 3 p.m. is the Michigan-Texas game. 7:30 is
so you can
Ohio
watch,
State.
You can watch both.
Yeah, you can. I was just curious which one you had
The
more.
bowl games are now NIT. The non-playoff bowl games.
Yeah.
Like, they have become the NIT. That's basically you're getting one more participation game.
Besides the Pop-Tart Bowl. We are Pop-Tart Bowl fans here on this program. The last thing we're going to talk about, I don't know if you saw this point of news in the NFC East, but we got a very interesting report from Pat Leonard, who covers the Giants for the New York Daily News.
Okay.
We've already had plenty to say thank you to the Giants for in the past, including
Shayshawn Barkley. I swear, Shayshawn Barkley is the best. We survived the Giants, and now the Eagles got Shayshawn Barkley. Lord have mercy, man. All to the Eagles, man. Yeah. All to the Birds. Eagles, okay.
I just wanted to play that again. But according to a recent article by Pat Leonard, apparently Joe Shane's job is safe, and he's going to be the one handling the draft for the New York Giants, and he will be the guy moving forward for them.
They're all Jackson darted up.
Sure, but like,
they're going to say that he drafted them, and their future is Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. And that team's a mess. It's good for us. There's talent on that team. I love the individual players on defense. The defense together stinks. Like, I love Kayvon Thibodeau. I think he's not a great person, but like I love him as a player. There's players on that team that just don't mesh. So I think evaluates good talent.
Yeah,
to an extent.
I guess so. Malik Neighbors, you could throw in there.
And look,
Daniel Jones now looks better, maybe.
They will say, hey, with a good coach, this will work.
Okay.
And that will keep Joe Shane alive for another couple of years. He'll probably hire one more coach.
Well, congrats to Joe Shane.
All right, coming up next, speaking of coaching, we get back to our main topic today, which is about who you are as a fan. Are you a how they got here fan or a they got there fan? You don't care how it looks. The fact that they're 11-5, you're happy. That's fine. You can do that. That's just not how I operate. It's a personality trait. I wonder how many people are with me or how many people are with those of you who are just like, hey, they're 11-5. I'm happy about that. 610-632-0975. You will hear two clips from Kevin Patullo. One we played earlier where he's talking about how they just need a spark, which I find laughable. But the other has been a question that Jeff McClain has been following for a while about getting out of the huddle at a good pace. Hear what Patullo had to say about that next. It's Kincade Salciunas, Johnny out today, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A game winner in overtime from VJ Edgecombe. I'm Connor Thomas, and we had some really great games for our winter sports teams last night. Sixers and Flyers both finding victories. The Sixers found a 139-136 overtime win in Memphis. Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey both had 34, but it was VJ Edgecombe who closed out the win.
6 seconds to go in overtime. Tie score. VJ's open. He catches. He shoots a three. It's good. He made it with 1.7 to go. VJ Edgecombe with the biggest shot of his rookie season.
That was Tom McGinnis last night right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Sixers have the night off. Flyers got their win 6-3 out in Vancouver, and Coach Rick Tockett's return to his former squad. 3 third-period goals were the difference in that one. They're going to be on the ice in Calgary against the Flames tonight, 9:30 p.m. puck drop that you can hear live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Eagles are back to work today as they prepare for their Week 18 matchup with Washington. But how much work will the starters get? We'll keep an eye on any hints throughout the week as to what the Birds are doing with potentially resting players. Nick Sirianni will meet with the media at 11:20 this morning. Anthony Sanfilippo of On Pattison will join us at 8:40 to talk some Flyers. This update's brought to you by Super Sure. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Super Sure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, but Super Sure coming soon. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The overtime. Maxey with the ball, getting by one man into the lane on Jackson. Lays it up and in. Tyrese with an incredibly difficult layup, but a right-hand drive is good.
Sorry, I'm not used to celebrating every single return. The Sixers and Flyers wins from last night, a 2-0 night for our winter teams. And as we talked about way back at the beginning of the show, we could potentially see something for the first time since August of 2020, which is seeing back-to-back nights where the Sixers and Flyers play playoff games. Now, you might be confused. August 2020, remember, that was the COVID season was paused. They resumed playoffs. It was August when the Sixers got swept by the Celtics, Game 4. The next night was Game 1 of the Flyers-Canadiens second-round series, where that series went 7 before the Flyers lost. But we have not seen, since August 23rd, 24 of 2020, back-to-back nights where the Sixers and Flyers played playoff games. We are heading in the direction of that finally happening for the first time in over 5 years. That's something to celebrate. Now, real quick, before we get to these Kevin Patullo clips for you that have been just driving me nuts today. You're a big golfer, or you like to golf?
Yes.
You're a good golfer.
I'm the same size when I golf as when I do sports talk.
You're a good golfer. In terms of, guys like me and you, you're a good golfer. Do you believe you have had 50 good shots in your life?
Oh, 100%.
You say that very confidently.
Yeah.
Okay. Yesterday was Tiger Woods' 50th birthday. So the official PGA Tour account put together a 22-minute and 16-second highlight package of Tiger Woods' 50 best shots of his career, non-majors. So just non-majors. So the random tournaments that he plays all over the country, 50 best shots.
Now, I probably have one or two shots that would be even remotely
that would be
close
like highlight worthy,
and they were both accidental. So,
it's unbelievable the career that he put together. 50 shots. It's 22 minutes long. I'm not a big enough golfer to sit through it, but that's something that you could click on anywhere in the video and be amazed by what he does.
People don't say that enough. Tiger Woods good at golf.
Yeah, he is good. All right, so Kevin Patullo spoke to the media yesterday. On a day where I just want to celebrate the Sixers and Flyers, I can't. Because the offensive coordinator is telling you that he admitted yesterday that they run the ball just to run the ball, which, again, that's not a crazy thing to say, but he does not allow Jalen Hurts to check out of some plays because he wants them to run in that situation. I guess it's to set up another play, but it's not like they're doing well enough to set any plays up. It's why they're one of the worst first down teams in the NFL, one of the worst third down teams in the NFL. Just 18 first downs per game. That's their average. Again, the teams behind them: Dolphins, Steelers, Vikings, Jets, Browns, Titans, Raiders. Just one other potential playoff team. The Steelers might get eliminated this weekend. If the Ravens win, the Steelers don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, but the Ravens stink.
So the teams the Eagles are ahead of are all out of or on the brink of being eliminated from playoff contention. That's not good. Here was Kevin Patullo yesterday talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and some of the issues on first down they're having.
We're still going through some stuff now as we speak. And really, when you look at it, is the amount of drives we had and plays and some of the starting positions. It was the first down thing again. We had 4 drives where we had inefficient first downs, put us in 4 second and longs. And then from that, we were in 3 third and longs. And, when you're doing that, when that's happening, it's going to be very hard to move the ball. And that's the unfortunate part of it. We had the one backed up drive from them -1. We have to get it out. We ran again on second down. We didn't get much. And then third down, we had some pressure, and that was a punt. And so when you look at those drives, it gets frustrating because we need one play. All we need is one spark, one thing to get those things going, and we're out of it. And there was a couple. There was one drive we were very close on the one where we went first and 10 pass. Then we went second and 10. We had Devontae. We had a little bit of pressure. We almost made the play. He had a great route, versus man coverage. We won, and we just didn't happen. 3rd and 10, we don't convert. So those are the frustrating pieces.
Let me ask you something. Devontae Smith comes down with the catch, rule to completion. Do we expect them to actually, the drive to continue? He's saying we needed one play. This football is not basketball, where one shot goes through the net, all of a sudden you get on a heater. Football's not baseball. You make good contact, then all of a sudden your next 5 or 6 at-bats are good. Football doesn't work that way. If your game plan stinks, and if your offense stinks, which it has this year, it's not going to all of a sudden get better because of one spark play.
It's weird because I've called them at points this year a coin flip offense, where it's like 50-50 shot, maybe good, maybe crap. But it's not really coin flip because that would indicate, hey, it could be either side of the coin either time.
Yeah, they've been more bad than good.
It's more streaky, where it's just like, hey, they'll get hot for a little bit where things are working and they're doing something that makes sense logically towards the game plan, but you can just feel it when they get into those. It's normally the second half. And I sit there and watch the games, and I'm like, they're in trouble. And I said that on Sunday because you can just feel that the momentum completely goes, and they can't recapture
No,
it.
they can't. It's either he has no idea going into a game, or it's the halftime happens and he does not adjust. And that's been the story all year long. A lot of people, I think, got blinded by the Commanders and Raiders games, and I understand because we were looking for anything to feel confident about the offense. Think about you want to know how drastically bad it is. All right, I'm sorry, but I have to do this. The offense has been so drastically bad that there are people that break down film. So not you and I, the people that do the film reviews, that were celebrating a game in which the quarterback threw 4 interceptions. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
The offense finally looked different that we celebrated it, even though the quarterback threw 4 interceptions that game. 3 of them were his fault. The other one was the drop by A.J. Brown. A game in which the quarterback threw 3 interceptions. We celebrated because it looked different. That's how bad the offense has been this year. So then yesterday, Jeff McClain had a great back and forth with Patullo. I love the work that Jeff does. He's great. And he's been on this getting to the line of scrimmage thing all season long, even when he was joining us. This was Kevin Patullo's answer on whether or not they're getting the play calls in on time.
When you look at that, I don't think it has really anything with as far as getting to the line too late. I know we get out of the huddle. For the most part, the guys, we get out at a decent pace. And so it's just a matter of just orchestrating what we have within each play, whether it's a motion, a shift. There's a couple plays, in one, if there's something we're looking for, if we're trying to ID stuff. So knock on wood, fortunately, we have not had delayed games. We got to continue to do good in that area. So I think as far as that, there's a piece of it. And then sometimes we're able to do different things on the ball, and that picks up the pace, obviously, too.
It's been an issue all season long where they're not getting the plays in on time. Or they get to the line of scrimmage and they're looking around, they're going, uh-oh. And then Jalen Hurts has to check into a play with 5 seconds left on the play clock. It's been an issue all season long for the people that actually keep up to date on that kind of stuff. All right, our fun little side topic that we're doing today, the Chargers posting a photo of Drew Brees in his Chargers uniform yesterday. Not saying congratulations. That's the thing that I think bothers me the most. They didn't say congratulations to Drew Brees being a finalist for the Hall of Fame. It was just finalist, as if they're taking credit for Drew Brees. Drew Brees played 4 years as a starter with the Chargers, 15 years with the Saints. That's why he's going to the Hall of Fame. Let's go to Larry in Philly. He's got an answer on that question that we have. What Philadelphia athlete can we sort of say about that as well? What do you got, Larry?
Thinking Drew Holiday. He had like a solid career, 15 points. Average 6 assists. They traded him to the Pelicans. Then he had basically his Hall of Fame career ended with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, Drew Holiday's a tremendous answer because nobody's going to remember him as a Sixer. Nobody. I mean, unless you are a Sixers fan, I don't think there are NBA fans nationally that remember him as a Sixer. It's a tremendous answer.
Exactly. No one. I don't think anyone will.
What do you got on the Eagles, man?
Real quick on the Eagles, I'm not scared of any of these playoff teams. Worst case scenario, we're playing the Rams. But other than that, I'd say rest everyone. Whether we're the 2 seed or the 3 seed, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to dive deeper into this tomorrow. And thanks, Larry. I'll put you on hold to be in the running for the Sixers tickets. Whether or not you play the starters or not, Adam Schefter pretty much told us he thinks the starters will rest. Mike Garafolo yesterday believes the starters will rest. That's the way I lean. But it's a debate that's actually a real debate. Last year, there was no debate to me. Individual accomplishment versus team health. This year, it's team health versus seeding. Like, there's a legit debate. And tomorrow, we'll probably hit that heavy. But there's a lot of people already telling you don't expect to see the starters on Sunday. And Nick Sirianni himself earlier this week kind of made that clear, to me at least. All right, coming up next, we do a winter check-in. It's a Wednesday winter check-in. Ant Sanfilippo from On Patterson covers the Flyers, does a great job with it. He's going to talk to us next. Flyers win last night, first of a back-to-back. It's been a fun season for the Orange and Black. We'll talk more about it with Ant Sanfilippo next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Coming late, Drysdale breaks his stick on the one-timer. And now back down the ice. Evander Kane's behind the defense. Goes in. What a save by Vladar.
It is 8:40 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Flyers beat the Canucks last night, 6-3 in Vancouver. We'll speak with Ant Sanfilippo coming up momentarily as we've been celebrating both the Sixers and Flyers wins last night while mixing in our Eagles discussion because the Sixers and Flyers are providing happiness for me right now. Until somebody gets hurt for the Sixers. But right now, they're providing happiness for me. It was the best game with the trio of Embiid, George, and Maxey ever for the three of them together. And then the Flyers with just another win yesterday, beat-down win of Vancouver. They have a second game of back-to-back tonight. And we're going to talk about it with our man, Ant Sanfilippo, who's going to be joining us here on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. Does a tremendous job. Also covers the Phillies. But we're talking about the Flyers here from On Pattison. Ant Sanfilippo. Ant, good morning, man. How are we today?
Oh, what's up, Andrew? How you doing, bud?
I'm doing fantastic, especially after a win like last night. And it made me think this morning, with the Sixers winning last night and the Flyers winning last night, every team in the NBA seemingly makes the playoffs. Do you know that we may see back-to-back nights where the Sixers and Flyers play a playoff game for the first time since August of 2020?
And the thing of it is that when you go back to August of 2020, we didn't even see it.
Right.
We had to watch it on television, right? That was during both of them were in the bubble.
Yep.
You might have to go back, I think at least a year earlier before it happened, in person.
My man Shukri, who's our associate producer, let me know that it was April of 2018 was the last time the Flyers played a home playoff game in Philadelphia.
There you go. So 2 years earlier. Yeah, it's been a bit.
So it's amazing that we've reached this point. It's New Year's Eve. Tomorrow will be January 1st after the Flyers hopefully get a second straight win. And we're talking playoffs, right? Like, I understand that this year was supposed to be another year of the rebuild, but you can change your expectations as the season progresses, correct?
Correct. And I'll tell you, like, I liked going into the season. I've been saying on our show for a while that I've liked the off-season moves that Briere made, and I felt all along that if they could get good goaltending, and I thought that was a big if, right, coming into the season. If they could get good goaltending, they could be in the playoff mix. Dan Vladar has exceeded expectations wildly. Like, he's been sensational, top 7 in the league good this year, and he was another reason they won that game last night. That first period last night, the first 12 minutes, they were outshot 10-0, and it was all Vladar.
Yeah.
If Vladar doesn't play as well as he played last night, they don't even win that game, and they won 6-3. So that's an example of a game where the goalie kind of steals it for you, even though you win the game 6-3. You don't think that, and he's done that more often than not in his starts this year. That's been the biggest difference for the Flyers.
By the way, the Snow the Goalie podcast, tremendous. You and Russ and Bundy, you guys do a great job. We had Rick Tocchet on a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him about Vladar's workload because the most starts he's ever made in his career was last year with Calgary, where he had 29 starts, appeared in 30 games. He's already at 23 this year. Do you believe they start sort of opening up a little bit more for more Vladar playing time? Because there is a major difference when he starts versus Sam Ersson.
Yeah, I think that they do make a little bit of an opening up, but I also think that they're cognizant of the fact that you're right. He has never started more than 29 games in a season, and so they don't want to overdo it, right? So I think you'll see him a little bit more regularly, but Sam Ersson's still going to get, some of the starts. I'd say it's probably going to be about a 65-35 split if you go by percentages. That's about what it's going to be, and it's just going to have to be that way. And I know Ersson has not been great this year, but for now, he's the guy. And, like look at a game like tonight. I mean, Ersson's going to play tonight in Calgary. Like, he's got to win this game tonight. That's a very beatable team because you're going up against a very hot Edmonton team on after New Year. You have to win this one.
Ant Sanfilippo joins us on the Comcast Business Hotline, doing a tremendous job covering the Flyers for All in Pattison. Can you this is a very open-ended question. Can you just sort of tell me what the story is with Matvei Michkov? Because it feels like every other week now we're getting something dramatic, whether it was what Sean Couturier said a few weeks ago or the press conference with Rick Tocchet last week, the back and forth with members of the Flyers media. Tell me the story of Matvei Michkov so far in the 2025-26 season in your eyes.
All right, so the story is we all need to stay off of social media because that's where all this stuff festers, okay? But the reality of it is Matvei Michkov came into camp out of shape, and he's admitted it publicly. The Flyers have talked about it. It's out there. It's well known. Now, in hockey, when you come in out of shape, you do try and catch up, but the one thing you forget is in this sport is players come into camp at a certain level, and by the time you get to April, they're at a completely different level. And if you're chasing that, you're chasing it the whole year. And so Michkov has really struggled to catch up to everyone else. Now, that being said, he has worked hard. I think last night, in all honesty, Andrew, was his best game of the season. I thought that he looked really, really good last night. And he has the opportunity, and it's going to be on him, at the break in February, during the Olympic break, to stay here and work and skate and work out and train. That will give him an opportunity to play that catch-up. and then he could maybe be that dynamic player again after the Olympic break. But that's all on him. Now, what's happened is it became public. The fans don't want to hear this because they have been starved for a superstar for so long, and so they, of course, are pushing back and say that the Flyers are hurting Michkov, when in fact they're protecting him and trying to make him better. So it's a real dichotomy there between the fans and the organization.
Christian Dvorak, are you expecting the extension to happen today? I know things have to, they can get taken care of before January 1st. I know there was a lot of mixed reaction to the report that came out yesterday. What do you expect to see?
I don't think. Well, first of all, he cannot officially sign until tomorrow.
Okay.
So it can't happen today. But I don't necessarily think it happens until they get home. If you want my honest opinion, I guess it's possible it could happen this week while they're on the road. But I would anticipate that they would make the announcement prior to Tuesday's game. I do expect it to happen. I do think it's just a matter of term right now. I think that the two sides are pretty close on the money, maybe within a couple $100,000 of each other. And I think that the question is this going to be a 3 or a 4 year contract at this point? I don't think it gets to 5. I know that that's been discussed. I don't think it gets that far. I think it's either 3 or 4, and I think you're probably looking in the neighborhood of 5.5, 5.6 million a year. He's currently making 5.1, so it's a marginal increase with the AAV. And I think it's a good thing. And the reason I say it's good, I know Christian Dvorak is not a top-line center, right, even though he's playing on their top line right now. The reality of it is centers in hockey, they're like right-handed hitting outfielders in baseball, like everything we've gone through with the Phillies. It's the same thing. There's just not many that are available or who exist. So when you have one, even if he's not a top guy, but he's kind of a middle six guy, you got to get him in and keep him in and protect him, because they don't just grow on trees. If you trade away Christian Dvorak or you let him walk in free agency at the end of the year, you're right back where you were before the year began, and you don't have that guy. So that's why you lock him up. I
love that insight. Hopefully the Phillies have a right-handed hitting outfielder at some point in the next millennium. That would sound nice. And listen, man, great job as always. We'll be bugging you about Philly stuff during the winter as well. And then I can't wait to talk to you during April when we're talking playoff hockey in Philadelphia. It's going to be great.
Look forward to it, Andrew.
Great job as always. There's our man, Ant Sanfilippo, on the Comcast Business Hotline. You said that we had a couple of Flyers answers for the Drew Brees contest that we're doing. If you just tuned in, if you missed it, the Chargers celebrating Drew Brees being a finalist for Canton after being a starter for 4 years, and they didn't want to pony up the guaranteed money. He goes to New Orleans and has a 15-year Hall of Fame career. They post a photo of him in the Chargers uniform. Hey, Canton-bound finalist. I think they should have sat that one out. What do we got on the text line? Apparently a lot of Flyers have chimed in.
We got a couple of Flyers legends that need to be in this conversation. Bill from Harleysville gives us Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah.
Of course, we remember him most for his time with the Flyers. And Peter Forsberg, another guy that you think about in the orange and the black.
Now, here's the one, the major difference, though, because we had our man Stan mention C. Webb. These guys were all back end of their career. Like, you knew where they were. You knew they were going to go to the Hall of Fame. The Chargers were like, yeah, this isn't going to work. And then he goes on and has a Hall of Fame career. I almost want more of those answers. Like we had, I forget who it was, that said Drew Holiday.
Yeah, that was Larry.
Larry. Like, that's a great answer because Drew Holiday played 4 years here, was a solid player, and then goes on and is a champion with multiple other teams. So Drew Holiday's a great answer. I wonder how many guys where it wasn't tail end of their career. It was one of our teams moved on from this guy. They either didn't want to pay him, Scott Rowland. That was a good answer. Or they just didn't think it was going to work out, like Drew Brees. And then they go on to have a Hall of Fame career. Take your answers. Text line, phone line, 610-632-0975. Coming up next, I love you, Vic Fangio. Another incredible answer that was short, sweet, and so spot on. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers double up the Canucks. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Super Shore. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Super Shore. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, but Super Shore. Coming soon. Had a great night for the winter sports teams. 2 victories. Flyers and Sixers both won. Flyers doubled up the Canucks 6-3, and Rick Tocchet's returned to his former team out there in Vancouver. 3 third-period goals were the difference, and we also had a milestone for Matvei Michkov.
Over the line is Michkov. He's got Brink going in front. They score! What a setup! Michkov to Brink. That's also the 50th assist for Michkov. No Flyer has gotten to that mark faster in 25 years.
That call from Tim Saunders. That game was over on WMMR last night. The Sixers, you heard, an overtime victory, 139-136 over the Grizzlies here on the Fanatic. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey both at 34. VJ Edgecombe, the game-winning 3 in the final seconds of overtime. Sixers off tonight. Flyers are in Calgary taking on the Flames at 9:30. You can hear that game here on the Fanatic. Eagles are back to work as they prepare for their Week 18 matchup with Washington. Nick Sirianni will meet with the media today at 11:20 a.m. This update's also brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Your favorite song shouldn't have to wait for Wi-Fi. Switch to Straight Talk and get real unlimited data on Verizon's 5G network. Straight Talk, available at straighttalk.com or Walmart. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
shot from the nail. Counted. It's good. Sixers take the lead first time in overtime.
Sixers and Flyers both get the win yesterday. Sixers in overtime, best game of the trio ever. Embiid, Maxey, George. And the Flyers just continue to pile up wins as they head toward a playoff berth, hopefully, if they keep this up. And for the first time since August of 2020, when both the NBA and NHL were in the bubble, we will be able to see the Sixers and Flyers play a playoff game on back-to-back days. And that is something that we have not been able to see in a long time, and it shouldn't be this long. This is a major market, damn it. Like, it shouldn't be this way. It's going to be something that, like, you know how this city gets with baseball playoff series, right? Because it's the day off in between, and we're all talking about it every single day. The beauty of the NBA and NHL playoffs is it would be Sixers, Flyers, Sixers, Flyers, Sixers, Flyers, hopefully for multiple series. And that's something that I dream of. And unfortunately, I have to dream of it because it's been so long. But we're heading in that direction, which is great. We're also heading toward the playoffs in the NFL. The offense obviously scares the hell out of me, but the defense doesn't. The defense is incredible. I love every single member on that defense. They're tremendous. And I love Vic Fangio. He gave such a short and sweet answer yesterday. Zach Berman asked him about the offense and about the defense, but how the offense has just 2 starters on rookie contracts. Everybody else has been around. They're not on rookie contracts. Whereas the Eagles, majority of players are on rookie contracts. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Drew Makuba before he got hurt, Jahad Campbell before Nakobe Dean overtook when he came back from his injury. There's a lot of players on rookie contracts for the Eagles. And this was Vic Fangio's answer on the youth.
About this group being fun to coach. He also spoke about the youth. I mean, there's only 2 guys who are not on rookie contracts in the starting lineup. Is there a benefit to that for you as a coach to have as many young players as you have?
If they're good players. I like a lot of good players. They make me look smart.
Like, I love that answer. Like, look, Vic Fangio is a tremendous defensive coordinator, but he also gets it. If I have good players, I'm going to look smarter. It's what makes me so upset with this offense.
Yeah, because they have good players.
They have. Think about what we were saying before this season started. We debated whether or not Jalen Hurts was being disrespected or not with his quarterback rankings and whether or not it should have been higher. A.J. Brown being a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL and people making up fake trades about trading him for the 3rd overall pick with the Patriots. We talked about Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown being the best duo in the NFL. Talked about the offensive line being a top 5 offensive line in football. Talk about Saquon Barkley being the best running back in the NFL. These are all the things we talked about in the summer, leading up to kickoff, leading up to week 1. And we're talking about one of the worst statistical offenses in the NFL this year. That's why I get so upset with Kevin Patullo. That's why I get so upset with Nick Sirianni barking at the Bills after winning 13-12. That's why I get so upset about this team potentially not getting back to a Super Bowl, because the offense is what will hold them back. Real quick update on a story I told you earlier. The ball in Disney World, the Indiana Jones thing.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how I said that staffer better get paid? They better cut him a check because he saved them from lots of lawsuits? You know how much that ball weighs?
300 pounds.
400 pounds.
Yeah, I was close.
So regardless of it being a rubber ball or not, a 400-pound ball heading toward people sitting, and most likely kids sitting. This guy, I'm not about to say hero like he went into a burning building, but this guy saved people from getting potentially severely injured. And man, did he save the pockets of Walt Disney World. That guy better get a nice little end-of-the-year check.
Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
Or year-end bonus.
Yeah, I think he deserves it. All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, A. Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. You know, I saw yesterday on our YouTube chat, I forget who said it. It was not one of our regular names, so I apologize. Hopefully you can comment your name later on. I saw somebody say, typical sports talk radio host, wants the team to lose so that they sound smart and they're right. That's not true, at least for me. I'm sure there are people in this industry that are like that. That's not me. I can't tell you how nice it was even though I said it was just the Raiders, how nice it was to come in Monday morning after the Raiders beat down the 31-0 win with literally nothing to complain about. You could not complain about the offense. You could not complain about the defense. You could not complain about the coaching staff. You couldn't complain about anything. My God, was that a nice welcomed week, especially right around the holidays. It was beautiful. Did I buy into the win? Like, oh, they figured it out? No. But was it nice to be stress-free for a couple of days? Absolutely. And obviously, after the win against the Bills, you hear it in the open. Great win going into Buffalo with those conditions. But there's a lot of concerns about the offense still with just one regular season game left. You hear Kevin Patullo talk during his press conference yesterday, clearly not having a clue with what he's doing. So that doesn't make me feel any better. But what does make me feel better is being able to go to bed and wake up and see that my two winter teams won yesterday. So Sixers game, I stayed up through overtime. Flyers game, look, they're 10 o'clock puck drop against the Knucks. I'm not making it through the third period. But it was nice waking up saying, wow, both teams won. And that's not something that we are used to seeing. Last year was such a mess with the Sixers. The Flyers was the confusing, where are we right now with John Tortorella. They end up firing Tortorella where he steps away because he didn't really want to do a rebuild. And now we have this new energy with Rick Tocchet. And you're seeing a Flyers team that has just been very consistent this season. And they keep on finding ways to win. Last night, we got to watch the Sixers with the team. It was Joel Embiid. It was Paul George. It was Tyrese Maxey. It was VJ Edgecombe. All of those players played close to 40 minutes. Embiid played 38. George played 39. Edgecombe, 41. Maxey, 43. The game goes into overtime. And this is how it sounded here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrese has it out top, 15 seconds to go. Jalen Wells defends Tyrese Maxey. Maxey right near midcourt, dribbling the ball between his legs. He's about to make a move, 6 seconds to go in overtime. Tie score, VJ's open, he catches, he shoots a three, it's good! He made it with 1.7 to go. VJ Edgecombe with the biggest shot of his rookie season, puts the Sixers up by 3.
That was great to see. One of the things that I loved about him since the first night he stepped on the floor as a member of the Sixers, that rookie's got stones. He's not afraid of the moment. He's not going to pass the rock because he thinks this is not my shot. I'm not one of the big names on this team. VJ Edgecombe was not afraid to take that shot, and he's one of the biggest reasons why you won that basketball game yesterday. What he was able to do in overtime, because look, you got some tired legs on this team. Maxey's played 1,000 minutes this year. Paul George and Joel Embiid are just tired legs, period. VJ Edgecombe coming through with that shot yesterday was tremendous, and it was just nice to see the crew together. That was the first time, I believe, this season where Embiid, George, and Maxey were on the court together, and they won. They had not been winning games. And part of that is Nick Nurse having to try to figure out what is best for this team when everybody is together. Is it this run and gun style that we saw early in the year? Is it playing a half-court game that goes through Joel Embiid? Is it playing a half-court game where it's Tyrese Maxey running the show and then kicking it out to guys like VJ Edgecombe and Paul George? There are so many options that Nick Nurse has as long as everybody is healthy. That's going to be the bottom line every single time. Every time we talk about the Eagles or the Sixers, it's whether or not everybody's healthy. And last night we got a glimpse of what it could be. Am I going to overreact to a win over a bad Grizzlies team? A team that doesn't know what they're doing with the future of Ja Morant? No, I'm not going to completely overreact. But it was just nice to see Embiid, George, and Maxey together for a game, and everybody play well. Embiid, 34 points in his 38 minutes. He also had 10 rebounds, 8 assists. How about that? Maxey, 34 points, 12 assists. Paul George, 17 points. VJ Edgecombe, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. It was nice to see that crew come together and get a win. And then after that, the Flyers with a 6 spot. Not 1, not 2, but 3 goals in the third period.
The Flyers wrap it on at center ice, 2-on-1 potentially at the blue line. Over the line is Michkov. He's got Brink going in front. They score! What a setup! Michkov to Brink. And Bobby Brink gets it right back for the Flyers. That's also the 50th assist for Matvei Michkov. No Flyer has gotten to that mark faster in 25 years. Hit a body in front and bounces out to center. Owen Tippett's going to catch up to that. With an empty net, he shoots. He scores! Owen Tippett finishes it off with his 12th of the year into the empty goal. And the Flyers are going to beat the Canucks in this one with just 2 minutes 41 left. At the blue line, Flyers get a stick on it. Konechny gives it to Zegras. Zegras ahead and with an empty net. Christian Dvorak lets it go into the empty goal. I think that'll be Zegras' goal. What an unselfish play. And the Flyers go ahead 6-3.
And that's how it sounded on our sister station, WMMR. The Flyers with a 6-3 win over the Canucks yesterday. So I wanted to start the show. Look, we're going to get into an Eagles topic. And we're going to get into a topic about fandom and following this Eagles team this year. But it was nice to just have a night where both winter teams won. The Sixers now 17-14. Is that great? No, it's not. But in an Eastern Conference, you're 3 games back of this 3rd seed. Like that, like it's that tight in the Eastern Conference. And then the Flyers now improved to 20-11-7 with that win over the Canucks yesterday. And if you're just looking around the divisions, you look at the Metropolitan Division, the Flyers are 3rd, 1 point back of the Islanders, 4 points back of the Hurricanes. Like the Flyers and Sixers are playing a brand of hockey and basketball that should at least excite you. I'm not talking about expectations. I'm not talking about, is this the future to get to the Stanley Cup or to get to the NBA Finals? I don't even know if we can even have NBA Finals conversations with this team. But for once, it's just nice to have a breath of fresh air where I can come in here on a morning and at 6 o'clock start the show off with happiness.
Hey.
Thank you, Philadelphia winter teams.
If the Pope's in, I'm in.
That's right, because the Pope was gifted the Flyers sweater, last week or 2 weeks ago?
On the 18th, I believe.
And now we have the Holy Goal Horn. It's tremendous work by you, Connor. So we're going to talk Eagles. We'll get into it. But coming up next, before we even do that, I want to spend a couple more minutes on what I saw last night. Because I am now, speaking of the Pope, praying that as Philadelphia sports fans, we get something for the first time since August of 2020. I didn't really realize how long it's been since I checked this morning. We are running on 6 years now. I'll tell you what that is next. It is Kincade Salciunas, Johnny out until Friday. On a day where we get to start the show happy? That's wonderful. 97.5 The Fanatic. It
hit a
is.
body in front and bounces out to center. Owen Tippett's going to catch up to that with an empty net. He shoots. He scores. Owen Tippett finishes it off with his 12th of the year into the empty goal, and the Flyers are going to beat the Canucks in this one.
I'm sorry. I keep on jumping on the highlights the last couple of breaks. It's been nice celebrating the Sixers and Flyers nights from last night while mixing in my disdain for the Eagles offense. But the Sixers and Flyers both getting wins yesterday, and we might see for the first time since August of 2020 back-to-back days in Philadelphia where the Sixers and Flyers play playoff games. And that is something that I dream of because it's been so long since we've seen it. And because that was the bubble, it's been even longer since we saw it actually at the Wells Fargo Center, or now the Xfinity Mobile Arena. It's a different name of the building. So I can't wait. Hopefully the Flyers continue this. The Sixers will make the playoffs. It's just a matter of seeding, and as long as everybody stays healthy, how dangerous they could actually be in the playoffs. But watching Embiid, George, and Maxey have their best game as a trio together, and watching the Flyers put together another win last night and beating up on an opponent that they should beat up on, it's good to see coming in the next day, a celebratory day, talking about the Sixers and Flyers while mixing in our Eagles discussion.
I need you to gas it up a little bit. We're getting it one more time. Come on.
Yeah,
Let's go. Overtime win. VJ.
Yesterday was what it's supposed to be. Joel Embiid, 38 minutes, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. Tyrese Maxey, 34 points, 12 assists in 43 minutes. Paul George playing a role. You're not bringing in Paul George to be some superstar anymore. Paul George, 17 points in 39 minutes yesterday, playing decent defense. And then you get your contributions from the young players, because that's what it should be. It should not be the Eric Gordons anymore. Dominic Barlow, 12 points in 24 minutes yesterday. VJ with the game-winning shot, 25 points in 41 minutes yesterday. Also 6 rebounds and 4 assists. You got contributions from Adem Bona. May not show up in the stat sheet, but what he was able to do to help out Joel Embiid on the defensive end, he also added 2 blocks yesterday. Quentin Grimes in 38 minutes gives you 11 points. He's your scoring punch off the bench. What you saw last night, I would rather than beat up the Grizzlies and not have to go to overtime.
Well, yeah.
Like, I'd rather not see the Sixers have these bad quarters, but what you saw last night is what it's supposed to be. It's what.
Are you kidding me?
It's what in an alternate universe, Andrew B, whatever my alien name is enjoying what the Sixers are doing, right? Like, it's not, oh my God, they're healthy, please stay healthy. No, it's they're actually enjoying it. I'm jealous of that, Andrew.
It would be Andrew H.
Andrew H?
Yeah.
Why is that?
7 letters off the front of the alphabet compared to 7 letters off the back.
Excuse me?
S is 7 away from the end. H would be 7 away from the front. So it would be your counter.
Wait, that's a thing?
No, I just counted it. I don't know.
No, I
just made it up.
Oh, I literally thought that you, like, created something.
I don't know. It made logical sense to me.
You could have just rolled with it, and I would have taken your word. Like, I thought you were some, like, alien name person.
No, I just counted 7.
I was really confused by that. Also, we're playing a game today because the Los Angeles Chargers are celebrating Drew Brees being a finalist for Canton after they didn't want to pay him, and he goes to the Saints and has a 15-year NFL Hall of Fame career. He was a starter for 4 years in the Chargers, but they didn't want to pay him, and they're saying, look at us, Hall of Fame finalist. He played here. What players in Philadelphia can we do that with? Let's go to Bruce in Wayne. Bruce, you're on the Fanatic.
Hey, boys. Good morning. How you doing?
What's up, Brucey? How you doing?
Real quick on the Sixers. I wasn't planning on doing this.
That's fine.
I was half watching last night. I did a 2-screen thing.
Yeah.
And at one point, it was Adem Bona, Paul George, and Embiid on the court at the same time. I thought that was just a interesting lineup for Nick Nurse to bring out, and that's what I'm hoping Nick Nurse brings to the team, because
like
that's
Nick
the type
Nurse,
of thing we need to see. You know
Nick
what I mean?
Nurse, Bruce, last year, like, I was so excited to see what he was able to do, and then everybody got hurt. And so for whatever, there were people at the end of last season that were wondering if he should keep his job. And I thought that was unfair. Like, it's not his fault that literally everybody was hurt. And this year, he also has not had many opportunities because Paul George starts the season hurt. Joel Embiid starts the season hurt. He's missed time. Then everybody gets hurt or sick. There's an illness that goes through the team between Edgecombe and Maxey and Barlow. And you see him put together the team that we're supposed to watch night in, night out last night, and you saw one of their better performances, at least offensively. He can get creative, and I'm excited to see more of it too.
Totally. So my answer to my question, and real quickly, you asked this. I turned on you guys around 6:30, and you asked it early in the morning, and I went back to sleep. And in my dream, the first name that came to my head, I turned to my buddy in my dream and was like Sergei Bobrovsky.
You dreamt an answer. I made you think so much that it was on your brain while you were sleeping.
Exactly. And so when I heard you guys, when I woke up officially, and I think Connor was going through like the Flyers, I was like, have they said Sergei Bobrovsky yet? And
that
I thought
might
Sergei
be
Bobrovsky.
the number one answer. I'm going to put you on hold. That's going to be tough to beat. When Sergei Bobrovsky eventually goes to the Hall of Fame, if the Flyers have the nerve to post a photo of him in a Flyers sweater, all decked out, wearing his goalie gear, I will have a field day with them.
Yeah, and it's worse than the Drew Brees thing because at least the Chargers, they end up with the Phillip Rivers years and everything, and they have a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah,
the Flyers
and there was injury concern, right?
Forever.
Like there was injury concern with Drew Brees. You don't want to give. He took more guaranteed money with the Saints because he had the shoulder injury. The Flyers picked Ilya Bryzgalov over Sergei Bobrovsky. And we went through this a couple of weeks ago. I think he gets paid. I think this is the last year of his contract, Ilya, because they had to defer the money, kind of like what the Angels did with Anthony Rendon, that thief.
So humongous big, right?
The Flyers picked that humongous man over a Hall of Fame goaltender. That might be the best answer that can't get beaten. You guys got a couple segments left to try to beat that for the pair of Sixers tickets when they take on the Cavs January 14th. The Flyers, they can't, right?
But they can.
They can't. They won't, right?
Give Bob his love.
God, please don't. All right, coming up next, we'll check out our text line. Also, we got our 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter. Trayvon Diggs is released. Adam Schefter talked about Diggs and what the possibilities could be for him to return, for him to come to the Eagles before the playoffs. Here's the best 5 minutes of Shefty next here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A big night for both winter teams. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update's brought to you by Super Sure. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get super sure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, but super sure. Coming soon. We had a great couple of wins from the Sixers and Flyers last night. For the Sixers, it was a 139-136 overtime victory in Memphis. Joel Embiid 34, Tyrese Maxey 34, and VJ Edgecombe was the closer last night. Here's what it sounded like here on The Fanatic.
6 seconds to go in overtime. Tie score. VJ's open. He catches. He shoots a three. It's good. He made it with 1.7 to go. VJ Edgecombe with the biggest shot of his rookie season.
Great call by Tom McGinnis there. Great win for the Sixers. They have the night off. The Flyers got a 6-3 victory out in Vancouver. Rick Tockett's return to Vancouver. It was 3 third-period goals were the difference in this one. They're back on the ice tonight in Calgary, taking on the Flames at 9:30 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that game live right here on The Fanatic. Eagles are back to work, preparing for Week 18, a matchup with the Commanders. Who's going to play, though? The conversation about rest is getting hotter as the week goes on. Nick Sirianni will meet with the media today at 11:20 a.m. This update's also brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance is here. Their sleep experts will help find your dream bed from a quality selection. They make sleep easy. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
Pass it out top, 15 seconds to go. Jalen Wells defends Tyrese Maxey. Maxey right near midcourt, dribbling the ball between his legs. He's about to make a move, 6 seconds to go in overtime. Tie score, VJ's open, he catches, he shoots a three, it's good! He made it with 1.7 to go. VJ Edgecombe with the biggest shot of his rookie season puts the Sixers up by 3.
Edgecombe with the game-winning shot last night for the Sixers. Sixers' best game with the trio of Embiid, George, and Maxey. I just saw a tweet from John Clark of NBC Sports Philadelphia. The 85 points that the three of them had combined, Embiid, Maxey, George, is the most the three of them have ever put together in a game. They had also lost 9 straight games together. They were 0-4 this season. And remember, they did not play many games together last year. They had a 5-game losing streak during last year where all three played together. So that was by far the best game of Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey. The shame is, how many great games will we ever get again? That's something that we're just going to have to go through the motions and find out about as time goes on. So we have a leader in the clubhouse right now with this Drew Brees game that we're playing. The Chargers celebrating Drew Brees being a finalist. And I laugh at that because they didn't re-sign him. And then he played 15 years with the Saints. A lot of people have chimed in with Pedro. Mark said it on Twitter. I saw a lot of people on YouTube say it. I know we got text messages about it. I know Shukri has answered phone calls, and then people just hang up because they don't want to stay on hold. That's fine. See, Pedro, I get it. But, to me, that would make more sense if you said the Dodgers trying to take credit of Pedro because he was there for a season and a half before going to Montreal, before then going to Boston, where he really put together that incredible career that he had. I get it, because if the Phillies were to say we took credit for this guy, but at least they got him at the tail end. The Chargers let Drew Brees leave. And so we're wondering, who in Philadelphia could we do that with? The team trying to take credit for a player or saying, look at us, we had this guy on our team. Right now, the leader in the clubhouse has to be the Sergei Bobrovsky one.
No,
just has to.
Can I share a text that I'm mad about with this?
Go ahead.
I love this texter. Jackie from Mantua checks in. They're always checking in on the show. We always appreciate the text.
Yes.
Their selection, Roy Halladay. That can't be. He threw a perfect game and a no-hitter here.
Yeah, Roy Halladay never got to the playoffs with the Blue Jays. And there's a reason why he... Think of it this way. Roy Halladay went into the Hall of Fame with both hats. Right?
Yeah.
I think he went in
it was
with
the
both,
non-hat.
All right, the non-hat, because he didn't want to pick between Toronto and Philadelphia. Roy Halladay, definitely. Definitely you could say it was a Philly.
Yeah, he's my favorite Philly of all time.
I know, you've talked about that
me.
before.
Jackie,
I know that bothers
what
me.
are we doing?
But, Pedro never considered wearing a Phillies hat into the Hall of Fame. That was never a consideration.
No.
Your Scott Rowland answer was a good one because the Phillies did not re-sign him. He wanted to leave because they weren't going to pony up the money, and he goes elsewhere. Schilling's an interesting one, even though he's not in the Hall of Fame for more so political and personal reasons and had nothing to do with actual baseball. Schilling was a beast here in Philadelphia. But I don't know how many people outside of Philadelphia think of Curt Schilling the Philly. Now, it's a long time ago. I mean, we're talking the 93 Phillies. He was on that team. But, I think a lot of people think of the bloody sock.
Yeah, the 04 socks.
Or they think about the co-MVP with Randy Johnson when he was on the D-backs. I think people may think of that more because there was more success with those teams. All right, hit me with a text message on our topics that we've got going on today. And then we got our 5 best minutes of Shefty.
All right, so we have a text in here, if I can talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. And this texter's saying, Dave in the Poconos, you ready to get mad at another text?
I haven't got mad at anybody.
All right, here's a good one. The Eagles winning the Super Bowl this year is the worst thing that could happen because it would likely mean Kevin Patullo stays on as OC.
Yeah, that's great. I won't get mad. I'll just say that you're clinically insane.
Now, you're anti-Patullo.
Yes,
so what are your thoughts on that?
I am. If the Eagles win another Super Bowl, they win a Super Bowl. That's nonsense. Now, I wonder if the Eagles win 30-0, if the Eagles win 10-0 in each game, would Kevin Patullo be the first offensive coordinator that loses his job after a Super Bowl?
Stop.
I'm just saying, dude. If they win 10-0 each game, that's actually a conversation.
Who cares? If they win the Super Bowl, nobody's losing their job.
If they win the Super Bowl, I'm not that's not the worst thing.
Hell, if they go to the NFC Championship game, he's not losing his job.
That is a totally different conversation. If they go to the NFC Championship game and lose, and let's say they win 13-10 in the first 2 rounds, and they lose again because the offense. Well, how many times have I said it? 24 points, right? They lose 24-17. There will be a legitimate conversation about Patullo's future.
Yeah, I'll tell you what the Eagles say. We believe in the growth. We want to keep Jalen with an offensive coordinator for the first time in his career. He stays.
You know why they'd be able to keep him?
Because no one would hire him.
Exactly. All right. Adam Schefter joined us earlier today. Here was the 5 best minutes. We got into a lot of the Trayvon Diggs stuff because Diggs will soon be a free agent. Here was Shefty. From ESPN, the great Adam Schefter joins us. Shefty, good morning. How are we today?
Good morning, Andrew. How are we doing? Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to Trayvon Diggs. I'm not entirely sure if he's thrilled to be released and finding a new team. Can you tell us what went down with Trayvon Diggs and the Dallas Cowboys?
I think it was a whole host of issues, and my guess is he's probably happy to be freed. He didn't seem particularly happy at that point in time. The way I understand it was, from the perspective of the team, he was pushing the envelope on certain things. They didn't love that he rehabbed in Florida from his injury. They'd rather have him been in Dallas. He didn't always play the scheme the right way, the way they wanted. All those factors. There were reports yesterday that he wanted to stay back in Washington after the Christmas Day game, and they didn't let him, and he did, and they got mad. Like, just one thing after another. And eventually they just say, you know what, it's enough. And they moved on. They released him yesterday. He's on waivers today. I don't think anybody will claim that contract, and then he'll become a free agent and sign somewhere else. And I do think he'll sign with a playoff team.
What playoff teams would look for Trayvon Diggs? Is there anybody that needs a cornerback that desperately?
Well, the first team I would think of would be the Green Bay Packers. Knows Micah Parsons. The Eagles have had 2 instances where they tried to acquire cornerbacks. They were interested in Darius Slay before Buffalo claimed him, and they traded for Jair Alexander. That didn't work out. I don't know whether Philly would or wouldn't be interested, but it wouldn't shock me if they just checked into it to see what his situation was and discussed it as an organization about whether it was worth the gamble or not.
It's Week 18. The Eagles already have one of the better defenses. So do you actually believe there's a likelihood that the Eagles go after him?
I think that they need to discuss as an organization to figure out whether they'd want to. Like, again, they traded for Jair Alexander. So if they feel like he can help their team, you bring him in. If they feel like he can't, you don't. And so that's up to them to figure out and discuss. I don't know where they'll come in on that.
What have you heard about the Eagles potentially resting starters this Sunday against the Commanders? They do still have the chance of getting the 2 seed if they win and the Bears lose, but Nick Sirianni also made it pretty clear that this team has benefited from rest the last couple of years before the playoffs. What have you heard about the Eagles and what their plan is for Sunday?
My guess would be there'd be some rest involved with some key players. Like, you're not going to rush back Lane Johnson in a case like this. You know, if the division was still at stake, Lane Johnson would have played last weekend. But it's not, so you rest him up. I would imagine, you know, certain guys that are battling injuries, like Jalen Carter came back and played last week. Maybe he plays a little bit more this week, maybe not. To me, it'd be a big tank, Bigsby week this week. To me, I'd be resting certain guys in certain spots.
So is Jalen Hurts playing? Because to me, if you rest 2 offensive linemen, I'm not putting Jalen Hurts behind the backup offensive line group.
I'm with you. I wouldn't be surprised if we were a Tanner McKee game on Sunday.
So Vic Fangio, we know, is the head coach of the defense. He's a guy that has say, and he's able to get starters to play in preseason football. Is this a decision that Nick Sirianni would make, or would he give Vic Fangio the call to say whether or not he wants to play starters on Sunday?
It's an organizational decision. I don't think this is a sole Vic decision at all. I think that they'll all discuss this, figure out how they want to approach it, and come to some sort of consensus here about what's the best way to use or not use their starters and key players. Again, I just come back to this. If there's a guy that's battling through an injury, I just don't know that it makes sense to play that guy this week. That's my point.
What is the latest that you are hearing with Stephon Diggs, and is there a chance that he is unavailable for the playoffs for the New England Patriots?
You know, we're in an unusual situation here because those are serious charges, and it was on the court docket yesterday. Now, he came out, or the Patriots did, and categorically denied, their words, categorically denied that he did that. And the team came out to say, we support Stefan here. Now, you don't see teams support players in legal. That was unusual. So I don't know what there is behind this. There's obviously a lot more details to gather before we know more. And the league would never take action. Like the team's already said it supports him. And the league obviously would wait for the legal situation to play itself out. I can't imagine the league is going to take him off the field this week. I'd be surprised, but you never know how these things evolve, and every situation is unique. It's obviously a very serious situation. I'll let them all figure it out, and we'll wait to see what they decide.
Shefty, listen, man, we appreciate the time as always. Johnny gives you his best wishes and a happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve to you and your family, and we'll talk to you next week.
Happy New Year's Eve to everybody in the Philadelphia area. Hopefully it's a great new year ahead for everybody.
All right, there's our man Adam Schefter, 5 Best Minutes. You can hear the entire conversation at 97.5thefanatic.com or just search it on YouTube. A lot of interesting stuff with Trayvon Diggs, who will go to a playoff team. He mentioned the Packers. I think Adoree Jackson's done just a fine job. Like, I don't think I need to make any desperate moves this late in the season. But I'm sure there's some people intrigued by the name. All right, coming up next, we'll check our text line, but also it is New Year's Eve, so I had to do something New Year's Eve related. I have random questions that I'm going to throw to Connor. You can answer them at home as well about New Year's Eve. And one of them is about sports and is whether or not New Year's Day, one of the better sports days in the calendar. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Unfiltered with Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Real.
Get a stick on it. Konechny gives it to Zegras. Zegras ahead and with an empty net. Christian Dvorak lets it go into the empty goal. I think that'll be Zegras' goal. What an unselfish play. And the Flyers go ahead 6-3.
Flyers win 6-3 last night. Sixers win best night of the trio for Embiid, Maxey, and George. So good day to celebrate it while also talking about the Eagles' offensive woes. Our main topic today, question-wise, was whether or not you are a how they got there fan or a they are there fan. And what I mean by that is you're somebody that either just sits back and says, hey, look, they're 11-5, I'm happy. Or if you're somebody that maybe analyzes it or in some cases over-analyzes it. I may be doing that a bit too much with the Eagles offense, but that's just the way that I feel, and nobody's going to change that. The Eagles are the only team that can change that. Connor can't change that. John can't change that. Anybody who calls in, texts in can't change that. It's up to the Eagles to put together 4 quarters of an offense, not against the Raiders and the Commanders. They had a chance to do that again against the Bills. They didn't. They got shut out in the second half, 4th time this season. That has to stop. So it's been nice to talk Sixers and Flyers, but we got the Eagles conversation as well. Are you a how they got there fan or a they are there fan? What do we got on the text line about that?
All right, so we got Joe the Cynic checking in on the conversation. He's mainly focused on Kevin Patullo. He's actually calling him Kevin Potato. And he says not only did Kevin Potato say they're getting better, he said they run just to run. Wonder if the line knows that because there are many times it looks like they're going through the motions.
His press conference yesterday was an embarrassment.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was bad. And I know, I see it all the time. Don't make too much of press conferences. No, I will when it's been this bad. I did not make anything of the Nick Sirianni introductory press conference. I didn't. I wasn't like, oh my God, this guy's not going to cut it. Like, I didn't have that reaction. It was his introductory press conference. But when Kevin Patullo is now 17 weeks in and is talking about how, it's getting better. We run just to run. Where has it gotten better? Anybody tell me where it's gotten better? Red Zone's been great all year, and that I will applaud him for.
People will tell you that the way they've been scheming it has been better since Nick Sirianni started to be part of it.
And so what I said a couple segments ago, think about how crazy it is that there are people that break down film and celebrated the game in which the quarterback threw 4 interceptions. That's how bad it's been this year. That film breakdown people said, at least the offense was creative this day. At least the offense showed different looks. At least the offense did things we have not seen all season long. And yet the quarterback threw 4 turnovers that game. 4 interceptions. That's the game that a lot of people celebrated. And then they looked good against 2 horrible football teams. And then they looked like crap last week. And last week was not the outlier. That's been the norm this year, has been bad offensive performances. What else we got on the text line?
All right, we also have a check-in here because we've been talking a lot about the Sixers and Flyers. And Bob from North Wilmington, by way of Tacony, says Sixers are so exciting to watch again. The energy is something we haven't seen in a while. VJ was mixing it up, going back and forth with Ja Morant and giving it back to him. And he's a rookie. The future looks bright.
Question, do you get excited watching the Sixers, though?
Yeah, I do.
I put them on. I get excited watching the Flyers. That's where I'm at right now. I'm excited that I saw last night. But I also have that worry that it's not going to continue because somebody's going to get hurt. And that's not a Negadelphian. That's what it has been, right? Like, that has been Joel Embiid's career. It's been Paul George's career.
Like, you're seeing VJ attack the rim with no fear. You're seeing him knock down open jumpers.
But that's the future.
Right, but that doesn't excite you? That's what I'm excited about. I'm not saying, hey, NBA Finals, here we come.
I got you.
But watching Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe has to excite you.
Look, you know how much I love the Sixers. So, like, I get joy putting them on. But, like, right now, it's like, oh, the Flyers. Like, I itch for the next Flyers game. I don't know if I itch for the next Sixers game because I don't know who's going to play.
Come on, I need you to get excited.
Last night was exciting. And it was the best game of that trio, and I've been saying that for 3 hours and 46 minutes. Best night of that trio, and I'm happy that I got to see that. I hope it continues. I will not hold my breath. By the way, I forgot, when the Eagles are as good as they are, record-wise, we don't have to worry about Bloody Monday. Bloody Monday in the NFL is next week. So I just saw a report from Jeremy Fowler. I guess he did a hit on the ESPN Cleveland station that if the Browns and Kevin Stefanski decide to mutually part ways, because that's been the latest buzz, like, I don't blame Stefanski for Cleveland. I blame Cleveland for Cleveland. I blame Cleveland for signing that horrible person, Deshaun Watson, to all that guaranteed money. I blame ownership for having Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders all on one team before I blame Kevin Stefanski. Stefanski isn't blameless, but they might part ways. They might just say, hey, it's just not going to work out here.
So who do you think loses jobs?
Well, I didn't think Mike McDaniel would because everybody said he's not going to. And now Jeremy Fowler is saying that if Stefanski leaves Cleveland, Mike McDaniel could be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
So I could see Stefanski. I guess I could see Mike McDaniel, even though they've made it up a little bit. I think Zach Taylor is on the very hot seat in Cincinnati.
I'm sure he is, even though, again, can you blame him for Joe Burrow being hurt all the time?
Well, you're not blaming Joe Burrow because he's incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
Todd Bowles, Jonathan Gannon, probably both gone.
I think Jonathan Gannon's gone.
Unless Todd Bowles wins the division.
What are you excited about if you're a Cardinals fan or Cardinals ownership with Jonathan Gannon? Other than him being a goofball, like, they've done nothing. They've regressed. And they were good with they were bad with Kyler Murray without Kyler Murray, right? Like, you can't blame anything. Like, they're just a bad football team. I hate that man, Jonathan Gannon. I strongly dislike him. There are way too many people, John Kincade, talking about how he's going to be the next great head coach. He sucks.
I think that's fair sports hatred, which is rare for you, but I think that's fair.
Because of the whole, I'm not going anywhere. And then he leaves. And I got to wonder, how locked in were you to the Super Bowl? Like, I don't know. The defense is the reason why they lost that football game. And special teams. I know Jalen had the horrible fumble. But, like, if the defense had a clue, I hate Jonathan Gannon. We're going to gut these guys. Fake tough guy. All right, it's New Year's Eve. By the way, congratulations to Bruce. Is that the winner?
Yes, Bruce in Wayne.
Bruce in Wayne is our Sixers winner. He had the Sergei Bobrovsky answer, which was a great one. It's New Year's Eve. Everybody be safe. Order an Uber. Have fun. Don't set off fireworks at midnight. Enjoy yourself tonight. I have some questions for you. One, sports-wise, New Year's Day. Where does New Year's Day rank for you sports-wise? Because you have NFL Thanksgiving, NFL Christmas Day, even though it's supposed to be NBA Christmas Day, or New Year's Day college football.
I'm not a huge college football guy. I don't really have a rooting interest, and now it's not the final or anything, so I don't know.
It's 3 playoff games.
It is 3 playoff games, but they're quarters and semis, or just quarters even?
Still play. You get excited for the divisional round of the playoffs in NFL, don't you?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know. It's not up there for me. I mean, it's in the top 6 or 7 days of the year.
NBA Christmas Day, even NFL Christmas Day is the bottom for me because Christmas Day I'm too busy. I don't like get to enjoy it.
Right.
New Year's Day, I know we're working tomorrow, but New Year's Day is typically a day where I could sit back and watch and enjoy. Thanksgiving football is number 1.
Yeah, but I'll take March Madness first day over New Year's Day college football.
Okay.
I'll take the sports equinox where you got the baseball playoffs going on and everyone's playing.
The first day of college basketball, people have to actually take off for it. New Year's Day, majority of people in this country are off.
Yeah, that's great. It's the day that you want to take off for because something's happening, not the day that you happen to watch because you have off.
All right. Are you a done at midnight guy, or do you keep going if you were celebrating?
Oh, if I was celebrating, I'd keep going.
I think at this stage of my life, if I were to stay up till midnight, which I won't, I'd be done at midnight. There were a couple of years where I was up till the sun rose. Horrible experience of working at Applebee's, RIP 15th and Chestnut, Mummers Parade. I was up till 6 o'clock in the morning, laid down for an hour, and then my dad had to drive me to work because I was not able to drive, and I still worked the shift. And I was working the upstairs, and the kitchen was downstairs, and I had to go up and down the steps with the big tray.
That sounds miserable.
It was horrible.
But no, I mean, you get excited for midnight, but if you've been boozing, then you just the ball drops, you're not just done. I'm not just going to sleep.
Are you a one spot or multiple spot guy? New Year's Eve.
New Year's one spot.
All right, I agree.
Like if you're in the mid to early 20s crowd, find an open bar for a reasonable price. Find a way home that's safe and do that all night.
So that leads me to the next one: house or bar, because the bar is typically a buy-in.
Relationship, house, single, bar. Most people that are going to house
but what
parties.
if your friends are in relationships? Like, wouldn't you want to be with your friend? You're not going to go to the bar by yourself.
Then I'm finding
Lieutenant Dan.
I'm finding my single friends when I'm going to the bar, because if you're going out to like maybe meet somebody on New Year's Eve with the traditional New Year's Eve midnight kiss.
Yeah, the midnight kiss.
If you're there with a bunch of couples just making out around you, it's just a little bit of a lonely experience.
That's fair. That's a fair one. I would prefer the house. I've done the buy a ticket, all you can eat and drink, and it was a blast. There was a place right near my house called the Spicy Belly in Manioc. It's no longer. I don't think it's open anymore. But that was my spot.
Yeah, we did the Union Transfer, which is a nice events venue in Center City. We did that for like 3 or 4 years in a row. It was great.
Yeah, Money Mar checks in. You can't make it to 12 anymore. I got to work.
Buddy.
I got my alarm goes off at 4 the next day. By the way, to me, counting down the New Year's is not what it used to be. Like when I was a kid, it's awesome. You got to stay up till midnight.
Yeah, I've seen the calendar change a couple times.
Yeah, I survived Y2K. Like I made it. Like I don't need it anymore. Like I'm okay. Like I gotta wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm working tomorrow. Damn it. All right, tell us about life-saving cancer research there, Connor.
All right, this continues into 2026. It does not stop until we figure it out. Remember to support life-saving cancer research. Join me and our generous partner, Window Nation, in making a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research today at 975thefanatic.com/AACR. Cancer research saves lives.
All right, you and I are back at it tomorrow. Everybody have fun New Year's Eve. Join us at 6 a.m. if you're awake. If not, join us whenever. We will be on the air. We have Middays with Marks coming your way next. Johnny Marks in studio, as well as Mike Gill will be doing the show with him. That comes your way next here on 97.5 The Fanatic.